Ah man, what a day, what an episode, what a moment we're gonna get into
Nigga said, "Oh
today.
man,
Oh
what
man,
episode? Oh man."
oh man, oh man. Welcome to Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos. If you're new here, uh, just get ready for the ride. If you've been here, y'all know how we give it up. And here on Good Earners, we like to talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective. I'm one of the hosts, Maurice Hunt III, but I'm not alone. I'm here with the other two capos that make up this family of ours called Good Earners. Spike Lou, Big Rich Town. How you fellas doing?
What up, though?
I'm doing all right, man. Look at this guy over here. Look at this guy over
This
here with the
guy over
jacket
here,
on.
freaking James Brown over here.
The chain
I
out
was
the
wondering.
jacket, man.
I was
You
wondering
said
who's
let's
gonna
get
say
ready.
it first.
Yeah, man. Mo, you say let's get ready for this ride. Who driving?
It ain't Spike Lou.
Is it Chris? Is it Chris?
Spike said I will drive, bro.
Nah.
Don't.
All right, well, yeah. Make sure somebody reliable is
Rich,
behind
you
the wheel
seem really
wherever we go.
responsible. You driving like you.
I'm a road warrior, man. We can get on the road and it ain't no thing.
Yeah,
Road
man.
tripping, man. I'd have been a great drug dealer in the '80s.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
have been a great drug dealer in the '80s, man.
Absolutely. You have such a nostalgic like demeanor anyway. Like, you know, you definitely seem like you could have been this age 20 years ago.
that 80s swag too, them Adidas track, man, I'd have been out. Oh, nigga.
Hey.
I'd have had security.
Hey, sound like
niggas would have hated me.
Hey, sound like he got his Halloween costume ready. Like, cause it seems like you got the whole like, you know what I mean, the whole vibe laid out for.
I'm gonna be a cowboy for Halloween. I've been thinking about getting me a cowboy hat and everything.
I saw you post that. I never had
a wait. Spike Lou serious about this? Spike Lou?
Yeah, man. I've been looking. I've been shopping. I've been shopping for cowboy hats, nigga.
What's the inspiration? What's been spawning that for you?
You trying to be like
watching? I forget a Van Rocket. He was a lot smaller inspiration. Yellowstone.
Yeah. Okay.
Just black cowboys. It's just, you know.
I can't believe that. Like, wow.
I ain't letting them take that from us. We was cowboys too. They try to act like that's a white boy thing. Like we can fly, get swaggy with the cowboy shit.
I can't believe Spike. Y'all don't understand.
You gonna get the boots? You going all the way there, or you just doing?
Hey, I was looking at.
You got to
do the boots and everything. Get the belt and everything.
Bro, I had a real cowboy hat some years ago when I was in a fashion show in college. Real cow hide and everything, thick, quality cowboy hat, bro. I was like, yo,
cowboy hats ain't no joke.
Nah,
a good one gonna run you. Like I was looking at the price. I'm like, okay, I need this shit. $100, $200, $300.
Hey, yo, make sure you get some photos.
You gotta get the Llewellyn Moss. From No Country for Old Men, the whole Llewellyn Moss get up.
Llewellyn,
the boots, yeah, the hat, all of that.
Yeah, man. Hey, I think
that's
dope.
Rock the cowboy, I see it.
Absolutely. I like, you know, I know y'all the too cool for school brothers, so I like to see the fact that like getting out of that element and just like, yo, I'm doing this just because I just like this. You know what I mean? So that's dope.
That's why we cool, because we do shit we like.
Yeah, that's true.
Fact.
And then there's that. But nonetheless, man, we don't have a ton of emails this week, which is not bad because we can spend a little bit more time on discussing. We lost a real one today, or maybe not a real one in some people's eyes. So real quick, well, a couple things. One, I want to shout out Kiori. He sent us a suggestion for something we can do in March.
You gonna step on it?
I mean, they don't know who it is, how it's gonna be, but I just want. We got something special coming in March. Kiori, one of our listeners, supporter of ours, has sent us a concept that will obviously be tailored as a Back of the Bing, but I believe we will all three be our first Back of the Bing, where all three of us will be on, and we're going to work through what this concept is. So we're not going to step on it, but Kiori is he sent us the inspiration, and so we're going to get that thing together, and it's going to be something really dope for y'all. So I'm telling y'all gonna enjoy it. So
shout out to Kiori, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kiori for real.
He does that for Dead End. He do it for a few people. So that was dope when he just reached out about that. So and then also lastly, Anthony Amaker. I ain't heard from him in a while, but it's good to hear from him. He says, subject line, hands down the funniest moment from Good Earners, obviously referencing when we was going back and forth which one it is. He says, on the subject, which was funnier, parentheses, counting down to the funniest. So number 3, all the references to Lydia instead of Livia Soprano. Shout out to Spike Lee.
That was funny.
Kept saying Lydia, bro. He said, "Have me." And
Mo made it a thing to correct me every time.
Yeah.
Every time he never let it. He never let it slide. He never let it slide.
Bro, that was heavy because he would always, and I could always feel, and this is before I knew either one of y'all, because I always feel Mo creeping around it too. Like, do I say something? Do I not? Like, I could tell.
Yep.
Especially knowing him now, I could tell he had that internal battle. He was like, man, he would leave sometimes saying, man, the listeners gonna get me if I don't say nothing.
Hey, listen, because we're making our bones. It's our first season. We're the first Black podcast doing it. It was a big deal. So like, but yeah, then Spike just flat. I said, bro, it's a joke. So that's what made like, all right, let me cool out. And
once he started correcting me every time, I'd start doing it on purpose.
And you did it so smooth because I thought like he genuinely like he just don't remember her name. You good, Spike. So that's his number 3. Number 2, I'm not reading all that.
That's not
number 1.
And the funniest part was the co-host reaction. From the audio, it seemed like y'all were like, wait, we could just stop midway through like that. And he said, it is drum roll. Number 1, hands down, the absolute funniest was the trunk story. I think I first heard it on Another Week in the Books, parentheses, do your Googles, listeners, another great show. A few months later, when it was retold here on Good Earners, it was less funny, and I had a gut punch moment having just dropped my daughter off at college in Atlanta.
Oh, Jesus.
Parentheses, AUC, stand up. He said, it had me heated like Mix from Paid in Full. I'm about to be on some real murder shit. Anybody that looks at my daughter wrong, end quote. Funniest part about the story is the young lady sounds like before the question was finished, she was like, say less, pop the trunk, bruh. Keep potting. Appreciate y'all. Tony from South Carolina.
Appreciate you, Tony.
Tony, man.
That's how she was too. Say less. That's what you want me to do?
I'm assuming Clark Atlanta. When I'm assuming that's the school that he dropped his daughter to went to, man.
Yeah,
you know, shout out to Tony, man.
I'm glad I ain't got that. Yeah, respect to you, Tony. Like that, like listening to that and thinking, man, somebody do that to my daughter.
Bro,
you can't think
listen.
About it. You can't think about it.
Like sometimes you got to think about things like how you don't want to think about things.
I'll be down at the AUC going crazy, nigga.
Yeah,
like little nigga, I'm putting a little nigga in the trunk. Like whoever.
Yeah, like this is a new,
trunk,
bro. This is a new teaching. Like after hearing our show, now you got a new thing to add to your teacher, to your child. Hey, whatever you do, don't let a nigga
niggas talk. Don't let these niggas talk and do no goofy.
Yeah, bro.
In the trunks.
Facts.
Yeah, man. Don't care how attracted you are to him. Don't make a fool of yourself, baby girl.
I think the funniest part about that story is that there wasn't any kind of I don't know.
Stakes?
No, not even that. It was. It's one thing if it's a lesser person or somebody you would expect to do that, like almost like a bully in a sense. Like I know she gonna do it, so I'm gonna ask her to do it. It's more so like she knew better and she still did it.
Yeah,
that's what makes it kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like she had her head on straight. She has right now is living a very good life from what I know.
Yeah,
and the fact that she was like, I know better than this. I'm still gonna do. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Not a problem. Not a problem.
She loved that nigga,
boy. And he still didn't want to share the story. That's what made me.
Hold on, man. When she was curled up in that fetal position, I wonder what was going on in her mind. She in the back of that
Bro,
truck.
Not a lot.
Here y'all niggas. Y'all niggas up here talking about Madden and fucking Uno. And she in there just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Bro, as the light dims, because the trunk is going down slowly. As the light dims, bro. It's crazy. Our women listeners they about this close to being out on us.
That's a real thing. Cause it's like, all right, man, you know what? You're right. Let's keep moving.
I gotta call him this week.
Hey, because he didn't keep it a bean on Another Week in the Books. Like when I wasn't there, he did not keep it a bean.
He wouldn't tell. He wouldn't. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's true. Yeah. We had to skip over it. I can't remember.
I wasn't there. I think that was I was gone for a few.
On it.
Yeah,
it's like one of those things that you embarrassed that you did.
Yeah.
Why
Which
you
I get
bringing
that.
up?
I get that. I do get that too. So all due respect. But nonetheless, that is our that's from all of our supporters of ours. If y'all want to reach out, goodearnerpod@gmail.com or goodearnerpod_Sopranos on our Instagram page. I can reach out with your questions, conversations, whatever it is, man. Feel free, y'all. We about to wrap this thing up in regards to the Sopranos, the series. So don't miss your opportunity to connect with us in real time. Spike Lou, what episode we reviewing today?
Mo, this is episode 18 of season 6, entitled Kennedy and Heidi. In this episode, the asbestos war heats up, which puts heat on Jersey and New York. Christopher and Tony take a road trip that leads to Tony having a revelation. And to prevent any spoilers in this read, I am going to stop right there. This is season 6, episode 18, Kennedy and Heidi.
That's a revelation. How to get a nigga gone. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
Oh,
Hey, speaking of Kendrick, hey, you want to talk about putting smut on somebody's name? Tony was doing nasty work to Chris.
Oh, wait.
This is some of his most disgusting work.
Oh, this is disgusting. Like,
this is the episode when you like, how did I ever root for this guy?
Oh yeah,
like, he's a fucking scumbag.
Like,
you question yourself and your morals. Like, how the fuck did I ever like Tony?
But you know what?
Terrible.
You know what? I know because we've podcasted so long with this, it didn't feel the same as it did before when I watched this the previous few times that I've watched the series in totality.
Let's do it. Talk about it when we get there.
Okay.
All right.
Because we may not never leave there. We may not leave it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say don't do that yet. Don't do that yet.
All I'll say is this: as incredible as this episode is, I think it's one of the best Sopranos episodes ever. There's nothing like the first watch. If this is your first watch, I envy you. Of this episode. There's nothing like watching this episode for the very first time and just right out the gate, like, what the fuck is going on? And it's just a mind blown. This is one of those you sit there right after it ends and you just kind of sit there and don't say nothing for a minute. It take you a little second to get up.
Yeah.
Your mind just processing it and then you go about your day. But let's get into it, Mo.
Yeah, you don't even see it coming really yet. At first, well, then let me ask that then. Well, I guess we'll wait till we get to the yeah, and then there's that. More brain cracking. So really quickly, we get an opening scene, the trash being dumped, and we find out it's asbestos. These scenes I care zero about. I get it's a part of the plot, but every time they do this, it's like I just don't care. I would prefer them talk about it versus seeing them play it out. Anything I want to add to this?
About it, though.
Well, which is fine, but I just this whole scene is like 5 minutes. It's like, bro, we don't know none of these people. It's just why am I here? Like every time they do this, I never care. They did it previous season. I think with Feech, dude was just getting beat up. Like, I don't know. Every time they do this part, I just don't care nothing about it. But
yeah, it's a filler scene. Listen, it's for everyone out there to let you just know what's going on between New York and New Jersey. There is some tension rising, obviously, with the asbestos, where it's being dumped. Phil's on some. I ain't know what was in there. Now that I know, price of the brick is pretty much going up. If you want to dump something like that as hazardous as asbestos, I'm gonna need 25%. Tony's not budging, and here we are. You can't just, and the conundrum is you can't just leave asbestos out. It's not. You really can't even leave trash just out like that, especially something like this, breathing it in. That's cancerous air that you would be breathing. So they got to figure out what to do with it. So that's pretty much for Mo's purpose. We'll do Mo's summary. That's what we'll call that, a Mo summary. That's what's going on, and that's all we need to care about in this scene. And then obviously it's going to lead to the conversation that Chris and Tony have, and Chris's revelation of, hey man, what happened to not to let this shit
flowers?
Go?
Yeah.
So actually, I think that's a more interesting scene we can get into.
Okay, so briefly, we see Phil and Butchie, and we see Tony and Chris. My first question: so they're having a conversation about the asbestos dumping.
I just did all that, and you still gonna summarize it? Shit, I wouldn't have done all that. I thought you was moving on to the next scene. You
Oh
said you
well,
didn't
I
care
was
about
talking
the
about
scene, so I
no,
just
I
gave
was
it
talking about
something.
the trash dumping part of it. I didn't get to the
Oh,
meeting.
my fault. I misread that whole thing. I
Oh
thought you
nah.
said you didn't care about the meeting, so I'm like, that's why I just did that summary.
Oh no.
And I thought you was moving on to the car route.
No,
My
and I'm
bad,
still not
bro.
about to cover it like that since you already did. I was just more so laying it out for when we get to the car. But I wanted to ask more than anything, since you've already laid it out. Are y'all surprised that it's Chris instead of Bobby? Because or Seal, because Butchie is Phil's number 2, right?
Yeah.
So why y'all think he chose Chris versus Bobby or even Seal?
Circumstance. That's the only reason I can think of.
Circumstance.
Bobby had to be doing something. It's late night as we see, and it's not a serious, in my opinion, enough thing to where I need you there. Like it'd be nice to have you here, but if I need to come over here with Chris, I can do that. That's what it felt like.
I read I read that as we see they made it obvious we were in New York, so I got to drive over to you. You ain't come to Jersey to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher ain't been around. We've learned that from the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
You have to come put in work. All of that ghost disappear shit. I got this meeting with Phil. He sounded pissed off. I want you right here versus Bobby. Like I trust you more. This is a conversation that need to be had. Like he still trusts Chris, as he still love Chris. We know what the buildup has been, and we've been pointing it out in every episode, and that's why this watch ain't as like the same as y'all was speaking of earlier as the first watch. I feel like as we know how methodical the writers and David Chase was, the reason that Christopher is here is because of all the stuff that we've been seeing throughout the season, him not being around. This is an important meeting. Like you trying to get like, and it's also to speak to the meeting real quick. That's why I think Christopher was there to end that point. But to speak to the meeting real quick, this is one of those things like one of y'all said in the previous episode. I see both sides here. Like when Tony like, bro, what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck it is. And he knew. You knew it was asbestos. That's why you want to dump it here and feel like, bro, you think I'm dumb? Like, that ain't the price for asbestos. Like, I might not even let you do it. Like, I'm irritated if I'm feel that I even got to call you out on this bullshit. And this goes to me calling y'all some makeshift crew over there. Like, you're like, we don't do this shit. Like, you got to tell me stuff like this. I can lose my whole little racket from this.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was a good conversation. This is one of my favorite scenes.
And Tony's retired. I mean, when he's obviously he's no longer with Barone, but he got his severance. You know, he kind of, so to speak, getting royalties. So that's that's part of Phil's gripe. But like, bro, you still feeling entitled? Like, bro, you really ain't. Like you were formerly. That's my thing now. You know what I mean? So yeah, everything you said though, Spike, yeah, super solid.
And like when Tony was like, "You doing the same shit?" It's like, yeah, I'm New York though. I'm not you. You like some rinky dink crew, bro. Like, let's get this shit. Like, this is him sticking his foot now. Like, I'm the boss now, bro. You ain't gonna get away with this shit you was getting away with John and Carmine.
Mm-hmm. And he really gonna double down in the later episode. Like Phil never leaves this stance.
That's it.
So we get to the next scene. It's
He told y'all in that bar, man.
Oh yeah,
he told y'all in that bar. This is what it is.
Yeah, and that yeah. One of the most interesting, arguably best scenes of this episode. Chris and Tony talk in the car, and Chris makes some suggestions to let Phil have it, and life's too short. I got a few questions for y'all. This scene is definitely something I want to spend a little time on. Y'all think Chris was right?
No. He's speaking from a soldier standpoint, and he's speaking from a position of not being number one. Tony knows what's going on. This is a battle for power. Like this ain't a all-out war yet, but this is like a cold war. This is a situation where he's trying to flex his muscle on me. I'm not letting him have this one because I got to. This is going to start a trend of me continuing to let him have them, and now we are a weaker entity because I let him have them. Like Chris, not a boss. Like he's not thinking like a boss. Tony's thinking like a boss. Phil's thinking like a boss.
Phil's trying to pat Tony on the head.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And Tony know that.
Yeah, you ain't about to little man me. That's what you do to your kids, right?
Yeah, this is a
By the
deal.
hand, lead them a certain way. Like, nah, you ain't about to do that. Like, if I give in, then Phil knows he can do whatever. And
Facts.
And as petty as he's been, he also knows what type of dude I am because I let him slide again with the vitamins. I let him slide with the vitamins now. So not only are you a pushover, but I know you a snake too if it came down to it. So if I do, like, it's all types of different angles that he knows about it. So
Like-
Tony can't let that happen at all. Like, I get it. Yes, in the grand scheme, in a perfect world, if we didn't do this, yeah, I just enjoy my money and my life and say 25% and call it a day. If this was corporate, this was real business, then maybe we can look at it that way. But in our world, where this shit can get you killed, I can't forward that quickly.
Facts.
Yeah. Interesting because Tony even responds. He's like, well, I guess you can't fight every battle, you know. Another question. There's a theory. It's been out there. Is Chris wearing a wire? And if so, is he trying to protect Tony by constantly trying to turn the music up?
That's a great
question.
I don't think so.
That's a YouTube theory.
Yeah, it's like
Ready?
it's like a theory because Chris hasn't, you know, they obviously they tie this into Chris wore a hat first episode. Now Chris his last episode wearing a hat, and all of a sudden Chris wears a hat. We know he has a great head of hair according to his words, and
I think they would have paid that off.
Feel like,
though.
yeah, that would have been found because Chris's body had to be removed. That means that wire would have had to been removed off of him as well. I feel like
unless it's in the hat, though.
Found out. Like, what's his like? Yeah, well,
but Tony wasn't
remember, the hat was there. The hat was right there in the hospital too.
Yeah,
you're right.
Unless there's some kind of protocol I don't know about. Maybe there's a protocol between hospitals and law enforcement where if you find anything that looks like a piece of government equipment, you call us immediately. Like, don't put it in their belongings, but just in a random situation, you got a body, you take their belongings, you put it in a bag. That's what it feels like. I don't think that he was wearing a wire personally. The theory is interesting to talk about, but I personally don't believe it.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting theory. I think that's people like just wanting more.
Well, it stems from the last episode. Do you know the things that I know about these guys? Look at Gravano out in Arizona. I like that kind of weather. Like that whole conversation he was having with JT. Like it's kind of left there, and then of course he peel his cap back blue, and then that's where we left it. So that's where people built the theory off of, like, he never. And Tony's going to get into what the real cause of how we got here, and I definitely want to see what y'all thought. So
I've seen this before, and
okay.
I can see a story where it makes sense, where Chris kills JT. Now the feds got a body on him. Now we ain't playing no games no more. We know you did this. We'll take you down for this murder. If you don't cooperate and wear this wire, I can see how you can get there in the storyline. It's not far-fetched. I just personally don't believe it. But nice theory, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I don't believe it either. I think that Chris's confession, his confession goes as far as JT, and after that he kills JT, because that's as far as Chris's confession is going to go.
Yeah,
you know, and we'll see something later with Tony and his confession, but it ended up being a dream. So and then and
it wasn't even that incriminating. Chris wasn't overly incriminating.
He never did really do that. As high as he would get, slap, whatever you want to call it, like he never really overly, even in his AA meetings, like he would get you all the way there, but not quite. But I want to speak to some a little later when we get to Juliana. So there's I got some more things I want to point out, but I don't want to hog it here. I want to see what stood out to you. Obviously, we're gonna get into the accident. We're gonna obviously get into Tony making the decision. Where y'all want to go? What stood out to you?
You staring this shit, brother.
Okay,
like you tell us.
Well, as much as you said that very well. The only thing I really want to highlight is it does appear briefly. Going back to your question, were you surprised that Chris is here? We know Chris was using last episode. Mm-hmm. Now Chris is using. Now Chris is around. Mm-hmm. So they were having a conversation like all of the shit they've been going through. Remember, last episode was very intense when it came to Tony and Chris's relationship, and it has been building up. Mm-hmm. This car ride felt like they smoothed things over and patched things out, and they're both giving it an effort to be there for one another. Like, I love you. That's what it feels like. So it just felt very nostalgic. Like you said, the flashback with a hat the very first time we see Chris driving Tony. Now we have a hat as well. I'm sure it was an intentional, maybe just try to give you some of that old thing back. Mm-hmm. Between their conversations versus being contentious. But that's really it.
What do y'all think about the look that Tony gave Chris when he cut up the radio? What was going through his head right there?
That would I got that right there in my nose because it was real. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini, man. It still hurts every time I think about the fact he's not here to, But it's so good because it's like he's looking at him like we've all been there when we with the homie. You know, what I mean, we on a late night and, and then he's doing stuff, and you looking like, bro, you good? But then like you stop asking if you good, you looking at him like,
I ain't stop asking shit. I got it, bro. What you want me to put on? Matter of fact, I'll do the brew. Like you ain't. Again, he looked kind of faded, but you don't know. Like, so I do agree with you, Mo, in the sense of when you with the homie, like you don't want to be like, hey, bro, you straight. Like, so I'm gonna take as much responsibility off you as I can.
mm-hmm.
Don't be trying to change the radio and trying to change. You just drive, my nigga, and focus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you need me to drive? I'll ask you that. And if you say no, then okay, let me take the radio over, my nigga. You just pay attention. Like I've had that conversation before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I thought that was there as well. Not even no hot shit. Spike, I sent you a video earlier this week on IG about like conversations that men have in their head. And I felt like Tony was having one of those moments. Like, I could kill this motherfucker right now. Like, I don't like. I think he was just looking at. I don't even. Now. I believe is he high or not? That's what Tony was actually doing. But there's also another side where someone could say, I think Tony was just looking at Chris and just thinking to himself, like, you know what? Similar to what he said later in this episode, a lot of my problems could go away right now if I just find a way to get rid of you. Like, I really don't fuck. Sometimes you just look at somebody, man, I really don't fuck with you. Like,
because Chris just had this conversation last episode.
Going on. I think that was going on. And
all my problems could go away right now if if I snitch.
And maybe one leads to another, right? Maybe because he feels Chris is high, those feelings naturally come up. But I think it could go the opposite way too.
Yeah.
I think he could look at Chris and say, I don't like him, and then start justifying why. Well, he gets high, he does this. I don't think they're mutually exclusive, man. I just think Tony despises Chris. And
well, think about it.
you a little nigga trying to tell me how to do my fucking, like, you don't know you have no idea what it's like to be number one. Like, what's that shit Kendrick said in Men in the Garden in that third verse? Just like, these lames trying to tell me, like, who are you to tell me I should probably just take the deal with Phil? You sound stupid.
Mm.
You take the deal and you see what happens to you and your crew when you get to run this shit one day, but you won't because you're a fucking loser and you never had the makers of a varsity athlete.
Got bars
that's
today.
Pretty much that's what Tony's saying in his head, I think. I think there is a world where he just said, man, whether you hire or not, nigga, fuck you.
Well, think about this. This is the big elephant in the room. You got the nerve to wear that damn Cleaver hat in my face.
You playing in my face.
You're wearing the Cleaver hat to the Cleaver movie, your diss record, your diss movie on me, in front of me. You wearing merch. And I'll talk about it a little bit later about the Adriana thing, because like at first I thought about the movie, but when I thought about deeper, I said, "Oh, this all is because of Adriana." But
nigga said you wearing merch. That is nasty.
Yeah, bro, you wearing merch on the revenge.
I ain't even never think about that. That's probably what he's looking at right there. That's probably the main root of that look. Like, nigga, you got the hat on. Like, nigga, we talked about this. Fuck is you doing,
bro? And how many times Tony give out the hat? We kept talking about he gave a hat out to Hesh. He gave a hat out to Beansy when he went out there to gamble. Well, remember when he kept giving hats out to people, but no DVDs. Like, y'all don't watch this.
That's like this like Chris putting the CD in and he put in Ether and Jay sitting in the passenger seat. You heard this new Nas, bro?
Bro,
like, check this shit out. Like,
exactly.
What,
bro? Exactly. So it's like,
that's a good point, Mo. That's a good ass pull.
Real quick, that's a great pull, Mo. Real quick, since you brought up the CD, I love how we know these dudes got money. They can go to, especially back in this day, you can still go to Best Buy, Circuit City, and spend the $9.99 or $14.99 on the CD. My nigga got the burnt Departed CD. Like, he got the mixtape version.
Yeah.
He didn't go to the store and get it. He bought that off the street like we would back in the day.
Yeah, good times. What a time to be alive, bro.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, man. Having a little, man, anyway, don't get me started on my side things. You don't take me back.
Hey, it's how the rich stay rich, man. Shit,
yeah.
price when I get this shit from
come on.
From Jamal up the street.
Yeah, don't let him have nice penmanship when he writing the name on the CD. You really feel a fish.
That's funny.
Nah, so but Chris, now here's the interesting thing. Chris turns up the radio, turns the radio up on in the midst of like Tony talking. And Tony looking at him with this like, this is my last time trying to kind of make the connection. Cause right before Tony's like, I think he asked like, how's the family? How's your father? Or he was asking something. And that's right when, pretty much Kennedy and Heidi were driving and, we know the rest is what it was. They end up crashing. But you think Chris just real briefly, Chris turned up the radio because he's just high? Like he just vibing out, he just high? Is that all that was? Okay.
Trying to, because like that, he trying to turn it up because he don't want to talk and have Tony realize that he's high. Tony's
this
asking
is high
him,
behavior. You're right. Like you're trying to
yeah,
like,
Tony asking him questions about shit because he's trying to figure out if he's high. Like
mhm.
Tony look at him and he ask him about the barbecue and I'm asking him about the house and shit like that. That's him trying to be like, nigga, what's up with you? Like you do that with your homeboys, like nigga trying to
Yeah.
figure out is a nigga drunk or not. You like you ask them shit. So that's what's happening right here. Like Tony trying to figure it out. Chris know to his credit, he know what Tony trying to do. Let me just cut this music up, nigga. Like we've done that before in the car. You maybe with your girl or somebody you don't want to. Like, let me just cut the music up, bro. I ain't trying to hear all this shit, man.
Yeah, definitely tried to mask the high for sure.
That's a universal. I'm not trying to talk right now. You turn the music.
Yeah,
Somebody turn the
facts.
music up on you. Put the
And don't
headphones in
touch
on
it.
you. Like, all right, bro.
Yeah,
It's
You
crazy,
don't
man.
touch my shit either. Don't cut it down and start talking.
Yeah, they don't even do that. So finally, they end up flipping a million times. And Tony, breaks the
Before you
glass.
get to the Tony breaks the glass, when you first seen this, if you guys remember, what did you think? Did y'all think Tony
This is
like
great.
y'all like, oh shit? Like what was your reaction if you remember?
I definitely remember thinking, "Oh shit," but I didn't think anything was wrong with anybody inside.
Mm,
Like, I didn't think I know this not the finale, so I know they ain't about to get a Tony up out of here. Unless they would, that would have been interesting in its own way. Then you immediately find out like Tony's moving around and even Chris is breathing. So it's like, all right, then, like this is happening for some reason. Um, I do think it's very interesting that Tony, for really the first or second time since it happened, brought up Junior. Remember he said that shit with Junior, forget about it. And then
mm-hmm,
this moment happens, and I thought about an Uncle Junior moment when Tony asked, "What should I do about this whole Chris thing?" Say, hey, man, back in the day, cut your
mm,
losses. And I think Tony
mm.
mentioned it Junior, and now probably thinking about that advice and looking at Chris. Awesome, you know what? Fuck my uncle, but he was right.
Good
Like I
point.
can't keep doing this. But oh
Man,
yeah, just to answer, yeah, I just thought everybody was gonna be cool. I had no idea Tony was gonna do what he was about to do.
Mm,
No idea.
yeah, I remember being like shocked and like hurt. Like I just, because again, your first watch for those, hopefully not spoiling them for y'all, but your first watch, you got hope that because
still
Tony's
not.
in, yeah, because
This shit
Tony's
came
in
out 21
therapy.
years ago, man. Y'all be all
I,
right.
yeah, you be
19
all
years
right.
ago, whatever it
But
was.
like Tony being in therapy, you're rooting for him to change, rooting for him to be good, rooting for him to break bad. That's the first initial watch because why would a mob show put so much family element into? You're putting all these other elements that make you see him as a human, not just this gangster. So when I seen this and I was like, I remember like being shocked, like because I already remember watching him with Paulie, and like I kind of wanted him to whack Paulie, but at the same time, I always felt like he was bloodthirsty on the boat on Remember When with him. So I'm like, bro, you ain't really got nothing. You just feel like you need to kill. But then here this came, and he looked at the car seat and it's like, oh, I gotta do him. I'm doing him tonight. And so I remember just being mad, surprised, and hurt. Like, dang, like, bro, this is Chris. And again, now looking at it, not the same. But then I was like, bro, this is your nephew. This is the heir. This is Chris. We know he messed up, but let's family get like that sometime. So that was definitely my first thought. I was really hurt about it. What about you,
Mm.
Spike?
I remember my first thought, and I made myself believe that this was because of the baby seat. He
Okay.
thought that oh, we know Tony and the ducks and
Mm-hmm.
the dog was he barking or whatever the fuck he said there. We know how sympathetic he is for like figures that can't defend themselves or whatever it
Yes.
may be. So they shot it really well in the sense of, oh, he don't want Chris to like this to happen with his baby. But now that well, and two, when I first watched it, he was like, oh, he was high. He mentioned it. He mentioned the drug test. He
I
mentioned he
never
couldn't
passed a
pass it.
drug test.
Then that goes to what you said about Junior, Mo. I think that went through his head like this motherfucker. Like I thought
Oh, Rich,
he
yeah.
been away. Excuse me, he been away. He ain't been here. He been telling me he clean and I'm turning down drinks and shit, and you still fucking high. And I remember the first time looking at it like, oh, he gonna kill him or do something to him because he was high. Because that's the first thing that came out of Chris' head. I'm like, damn, this ain't the way that Chris supposed to go out, man.
Yeah, that
Like he
too.
ain't supposed to. Cause I remember thinking all these things, and even going back to the flip before we realized that they were alive. I remember when first time watching it, thinking like, damn, how would this story go if there's no more Tony and we got like 5 more episodes? Like, what would that look like? How are they going to play that? Like, it's Game of Thrones losing Ned Stark. That was later in the season. It was 1, 2 episodes left or whatever it may be. But this is the original, I feel like, version of the Ned Stark. Spoiler alert if you ain't seen it. This is the original version of Ned Stark getting his head chopped off. It's like, damn, I almost thought that Tony was out because I was like, who gonna survive that wreck, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, so all of that was going through my mind the first time that I watched this. But of course, we got to the place where we seen both of them was breathing, and you wondering what Tony gonna do to Chris.
I make a proclamation: no more spoiler alerts on things that are bona fide classics and have been out for over 10 years. If you haven't seen it, you missed it. You know what? It's on you. You should. Matter of fact, there should be something dedicated to all the spoilers,
Mm.
just for you not watching all this shit. Very well said by both of you, though.
I know, and you as well. Do y'all think they went to the car accident one too many times on The Sopranos?
What do you mean?
I mean, how many times has Tony been
in
in an
like 4 or
accident?
5 accidents. Tony has been about 4 or 5.
Like we didn't see Tony
Adriana wrecked
Adriana
himself when he passed out.
Pat-
Hydrant.
fire hydrant. Yeah, this one. Phil getting in the car
It
accident.
wasn't his accident. But yeah,
Big Puss getting in the accident, trying to be a undercover investigator, trying to.
This was wilding.
Yeah, bro.
He was wilding, bro. I wonder. Let me ask y'all this, just before we move on from the Chris thing: is there? And there's a conversation later in this episode. I just don't want to forget it. Is there that feeling of relief as a viewer watching this decision being made? And the reason I ask that is because we've seen multiple times where Chris should have been out of here anyway. Like regardless of his reason and why he did it, right? You think Tony's up with AIDS, so you come up and you shoot up his truck. And the last time we saw this,
came in the Bing with a gun,
yeah, you know what I mean? Shot up his truck. Tony had you in the fields. There's been multiple times where you know you're only alive because of who you are and what you mean to Tony.
Yeah.
The whole intervention thing and you going up there, all of that. So when Spike said it, I started thinking about this. That's not how Chris was supposed to go out. Well, yeah, now I'm thinking like, damn, if Chris would have went out the multiple times he should have went out, would that have been worth it either? And it makes me think of the whole regularness of life. Was this just a relief? Like, you know what? Chris is just somebody who was never going to get it. And I think that's why they pan to that baby seat. Like, Chris is a danger to himself and others. He's not built to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take him out his misery. Like, honestly, take him out his misery, man. You're doing the world a justice. Now, the overall story is, or question is, what gives you the right? Like, who the fuck are you to make that decision?
Why Tony Soprano?
All of that. But I'm just saying, that's a long-winded way of asking both of you. Did you feel any sort of relief as well? Like, you know what? For where Chris's character has been since he took that shot of dope in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm tired. It's just a repeated cycle. Were y'all relieved as well, the same way Tony was, or did you was it more so like, damn, man, Chris out of here?
No, it's always a harder thing for me because last time we seen Chris walk like a man in the previous episode, he only broke his sobriety because it seemed like he was about to really make that turn. Like I talked about Chris's arc at the barbecue. Like he seems sober, clean, hair was nice, clothes was together, eyes was white. He looked like he had it together, and he was very intellectual in how he spoke to Tony in that moment where even Tony didn't really like the fact that Chris called him on his hypocrisy. So him going out like this, I mean, obviously he had that drink that night trying to just appeal to them because, you know, he was trying to bond and connect. I never really, I get why this happened, but I never liked Chris going out like this. I would have preferred Chris going out when the Tony B thing happened, when he pulled up to the Bing, or I would just prefer like it'd have been like some Nino and G Money type stuff. Like personally, I don't care how TV magic it might have felt.
Even Nino had
What do you
a tear.
mean? I was say, what you talking about? You just
Tony did not give a fuck. Tony was bothered that people cared about Chris dying.
Well, we'll get there.
Even more than that. Even more than that, bro. He acted like he didn't know. He asked the doctor, like, "Is my friend okay?" Like, that's some sick shit right there.
Yeah, that's sick. That's
like,
really
nigga,
sick. I had that.
That's some sick shit. To your question about, I think I may disagree with you, both of you guys. I think this was perfect. I think this was the opportunity for Tony, and while we appreciate him as a gangster, like it's unconventional. Like the G Money and Nino Brown would have been more conventional. All of those other circumstances where we take Chris out of here would have been more conventional. This is Tony Soprano being evil and us questioning, like you said, Rich, like, why do I like this dude?
The look on his face.
Yeah.
And that black
like it
shadow.
wasn't a satisfaction for me as a viewer watching this. It was I seen the satisfaction on his face though.
Mm-hmm.
That is what made this scene so brilliant, and this whole like exercise of how he killed Chris. It was like, we always commend Tony for how quick he thinks and how he think on his feet or whatever. That is what makes him a good gangster. This is one of these moments where it's like, you know what? It would be better if you just wasn't here, bro. Like, I'm not gonna continue to have you under my wing no more. And I ain't emotionally intelligent enough to tell you. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this opportunity to take you out. That way, just like with Ralphie, nobody really knew what happened. I get it out right here too.
They know, but
nobody really knew what happened.
Can't fire nobody in the mob. Ain't no firing people in the mob.
Right. This is brilliant.
I thought about something that you said, that another brilliant thing about it was very human. And what I mean by that is, we know that Tony's killed. We know that Chris is killed, everything else. But there's also a sense of, and I think we've even mentioned this even in recent episodes. I think I mentioned it last week with JT's death. The idea of killing someone in cold blood and just walking out like it's normal, like a regular day, the average person doesn't respond to that. Like, if you actually caught a body, like, you would be freaked out on some, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna get caught? That's a moment. That's one of the few moments where you can do something as heinous as killing someone and nobody would know. I could suffocate this man right now and nobody would know. That's something I could just carry with myself the rest of my life, and it makes you be
and
like,
that's the appeal. That's the appeal of this scene.
It's like, damn, that shit crazy. Like, and I just make this decision right now. I have the power of ending your life, and I really don't fuck with you. If I want to do it, I will. If I don't, I don't. And I just think that's sheesh.
Yeah, you thought it was sweet when you made a movie about me. How about this? How about the movie ain't gonna be nothing like
all of that
like
comes
the,
out.
Like the reality.
All of that comes out right here.
That right here is like, oh, the movie.
He looks at him. Yeah.
When I'm walking over and you come back to life and get revenge on me, but in reality, nigga, you're done. Ain't a movie, dog.
When I'm walking over and I'm busting out the glass, that's what's going through his head. The movie, Adriana, the drugs. It's like, I could save your life, yeah. Like, you struggling, fucked up, spitting up blood. I get it. I can call 911, somebody get out here. You might live, you might die. I don't want to chance it though, bro. I'm gonna kill you right here. That's how evil I am.
Yeah,
but you deserved it. And one thing I'll just speak to, my bad, Rich. I just want to speak to what you said about the first watch versus watching it now. This is the first time that I've watched it in the sense of we are commentating about it.
Yeah.
We've done to toot our own horn. We've done a very good job of speaking of the animosity between Chris and Tony throughout this season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now you look at it, like you said, it don't have the same feel because we're paying more attention and we're having to come and talk about it. This is obvious.
Yeah.
That it's going to happen.
Yep.
Like looking at this, like if you take your mindset and look at it, and they're like, oh yeah, It's
You see
over.
how
It's over,
he
bro.
got there.
Yeah, you see, like I can see the direct pathway as to why
Mm-hmm.
this was set up this way, and that's the brilliance of this show. It ain't for the first watch.
No,
This is for the
no.
second. This
This
kill right
is
here is for the second, third,
third.
fourth
Yep.
watch.
I promise you,
Facts,
it is. You cooking.
because you get it. You like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
I was just gonna say the last thing was the need behind it. Like we found out also that Tony's concerned about. Even you mentioned it, Mo. It's Chris wearing the wires. It's the person that's gonna turn me in. Sometimes we got to kill for the better of the business, and of course, I've made the wire comparison. Man, this is they go a life that had to be snatched, Avon.
Mm.
Like it goes back to the whole point I was making. Like something so unsuspecting, like I can get away with this, and nobody would ever know unless I say something. Like that's crazy power. Like,
Yeah.
I got bodies, nigga, that no one ever would know about, would never even suspect me of. Stranger held that body
Facts,
because nigga, I needed to do that for the betterment of what we doing. And
facts.
if I needed to flex it, I can. But that's a body that had to be snatched. That's a life that had to be snatched, and that's the same way Tony looked at it. Like this life has to be snatched right now. You can't continue living.
I think that they driving the point here, like, where's my arc, right? With Chris, because it's anticlimactic. Because when you look at how Big P died, like that's ideally what I would have liked for Chris. Obviously, they can't go back to the well because David Chase he would never do nothing like that. But like how Big P on Funhouse got killed, season 2, it's like I like that because there was this sentimental value. The way they did Chris is like, oh, we're gonna get him out of here and we're gonna spend the first 15 minutes of the episode, we're gonna move on, and we think it's more interesting and important to focus on Tony's reaction versus the actual thing itself. And I wish it would have. I get it. It's brilliant and genius for a show that came out at the time it came out and ran for the duration. But I still wish it was something a little bit more. It could have, like, again, because it's been Tony and Chris, but I just wish it was something a little bit more like that. Like how Tony whacked Phil, I mean, not Phil, but Ralph, and Ralph's son was in the hospital. You know what I mean? Like it had a weight to it. This didn't have so much weight to it. First time watch, of course, but like now it's like I don't know. I feel like they was just trying to take a creative liberty and say, okay, it'd be more interesting to focus on this. Like we don't give a damn about Chris. He don't have an arc. Matter of fact, he has such a no arc that we're gonna kill him, and the majority of the episode is gonna be about the reaction versus his actual death, which is brilliant. But I would prefer it differently, and I can live with it. But I just, if it could
You don't
be
think we
redone.
passed this? You don't think we passed this arc? You said his arc was last episode.
Well, I say this arc, yeah, like when he was grilling, but I feel like
so there's no need for him. There's no need for him no more.
But what I'm saying is that's my opinion. I don't think Chase or any of them looked at like, I think they wrote Chris to not have an arc because of that. I think it was a profound statement early season 1, Legend of Tennessee Moltisanti, and I think they were just sowing that seed to say that he would never arrive. And also the regularness of life is too much, for him, which obviously he starts to lean more into because he can't relate to the mob guys. So I don't know. I just would have liked something different, but it still works. It's still epic. I just would have liked something a little bit more for Chris this is Chris. You know what I mean?
Just a little bit to what you said, though.
Yeah.
I do think that you are right. That was his arc. That episode. I think that the writers and David Chase and them, they thought the same thing. And then I think that they thought that, okay, what's the use for Chris after we said like his arc? We don't need him anymore. He don't push the story of the Sopranos any further.
Yeah.
So this again was the brilliance of the writing in this show, and reason why we talk about it and are able to have 2-hour podcasts about this shit. You hit the nail on the head. Like his arc is past. We seen Chris at his high. He can't get no higher than that.
Yeah, you're right.
And then this was the show telling us he can't maintain that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you done seen niggas, like we have experience with this. I'm sure all three of us. You done seen niggas they was at their best. Niggas who poop punching you, like I know in a month he'll be back back right where I know what I know him to be. He'll be that because he just can't. He can't do it.
Yeah.
I know you. I know what you like to do, my nigga. You can't pull this off.
Yeah.
It look good right now, and I commend you for it. I hope you keep it up, but you can't. And I seen that you can't because you high on this drive with me. It's one of the most important meetings that I have. We beefing with New York.
Yeah.
And you bumping lines before we go do this shit, and you driving me back. Man, stop it, bro. Like now your arc
That
was
is
there,
crazy.
but we
That's crazy.
showed that you can't maintain it. And since you can't maintain it, I'm gonna go ahead and take you out. Bro, get out of here. This ain't for you. You're not like us.
I've been waiting. I knew at some point it was coming up. I've been waiting, boy. Like your label, boy, you in the scope right now. All right.
That was a freestyle right there too.
So that's good. So yeah, so we got past that. He says you got to help me. I never passed the drug test. So we get to Tony at the hospital.
And what kind of shit is that to say when you're dying too?
Well, I don't think Chris is thinking. You got to think he's not thinking.
He might be in shock or some shit.
He don't think he about to die.
Like bro, most people when they're about to die, you don't think you're about to die. Like I think more people more so don't think than they do. It's a luxury to be an old person in a hospital. Like my time is coming. I'm just holding on for such and such to visit me. That's a luxury. Most times people don't think, you know what I mean, that they're gonna die. Like Johnny Sack didn't think he was gonna die because of old boy. Like he's like, oh, okay, I got more time, and then that was it.
That nigga said, "Call me a taxi." Like nigga, you spitting blood, bro. Ain't no taxi.
He just think it's a basic DUI, dude. Like, hey, look, get me about this whip. We go figure this thing out later. Like,
yeah, man, come on, chill.
That's crazy. It is.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm about to go even darker, but never mind. I'm gonna leave it there. So Tony's in the hospital. Tony calls Carmela and tells her Chris is dead. Kelly hears the news and she loses it. And Tony sees the body bag of Chris and the cleaver hat. Again, this ain't a movie, dog. What did y'all gather from this? What y'all gather from this?
Spike's already mentioned what I was gonna say, man. It was, especially watching this like the third time, getting ready for this recording, knowing that you killed that man and then asking the guy that I came in with what's going on. And everything was crass about it. Even the way they answered, which we've already discussed. That's kind of how doctors and hospitals are. Everybody should go, yeah, he dead. Anyway, on to the next thing, like that nigga gone. Like there ain't no way to break news. I think he found throughout this entire episode and starting now, in his own sick way, he enjoyed breaking the news that Chris was dead. To Carmela, kind of quarterbacking everything, also being a boss, taking lead, trying to figure out how can I turn this into me being a hero. Looking over at that cleaver hat and everything else, it was just,
It's like because the joke was on me when everybody realized that you had the Baldwin playing me in the basement when everybody's watching the Cleaver movie. The joke was on me, but now the joke is on you. Like I feel like he's so psychotic in that sense. Like you're saying, it's like I'm thinking about like, yeah, I'm revealing this news. I got to play it a certain way because he's a sociopath, but sociopathic. But it's still like interesting enough. But anyway, so Tony is in the bed, and did y'all notice right before the family comes in as far as the mob family?
Hold on, Mo. That might be Carlo.
Yo, they OD on Carlo, bro. Like, hey, I don't blame Carlo. You know what I mean, for his decision, because when Tony told him maybe you should start sucking cock, like he made three times as much as you. Like, bro, who are you talking to?
Nah, I was just referencing. Remember, dude kept asking. He kept stopping. Like, hey man, that might be Carlo outside. Nah, it's not. Bro, Carlo. That might be Carlo. That's
bro. We got a version of this when you're like you might have a family function or a barbecue and they keep looking for a particular individual. Yeah, so and so say they coming over. Like, all right, bro, and you kind of like overlook it. You moved on. And they keep bringing up. Yeah, your aunt Janice, your aunt Chrissy coming over. Your aunt Regina, okay, all right. Well, your aunt Regina says she's gonna be 15 minutes. Bro, we're good. Like, please stop.
That person always say they coming but never come.
They never.
And then there's one family member that's like always missing. Yeah,
you hate when they bring them up at this point. Like, stop, knock it off, because I know they're not coming. You the only person still buying this.
That's funny.
That's silly. Well, my bad, Mo.
No.
I had to take advantage of the opportunity.
No doubt. But Tony in the bed. Did y'all notice that y'all hear birds?
Yeah, the crow.
Okay. All right. So that ties back into when for the listeners, Christopher was made and he seen that crow in the window. And they said it could be a bad omen. And so the fact that, man, that is crazy, bro. Tony was on the other side of Chris being made while the crow was in the window. Chris kept looking at that crow, had no idea that the man that you're looking at that's going to put these cards in your hand lit on fire and pricking your finger for the blood is going to be the same one while you're coughing up blood is going to choke you out. I'd have suffocate you. That's what he said. That's what he said, bro.
That's the intervention.
And he suffocated him. God, this show is just.
You've been planning this all day. I've been planning this all week.
I've been planning this all week, son.
I've been planning this
Nigga,
for years.
all months.
Nigga. But yeah, the Soprano crew visits Tony and they're working through their feelings, and Tony is being, very minimal in his response to Chris's death. They put a lot of focus on Carlo's arrival. Wink, wink.
Fucking idiot didn't have a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
Ask that man. They asked Tony how he was doing. Knowing that he lost his nephew, he immediately goes to his physical state. Not emotional, not like, oh, I'm fucked up, I just lost my dog. If you ask any of us, our dog, bro, our nephew, somebody like that, and I'm fucked up right now, man. I'm sorry. This nigga said, oh, my knee. Nigga, I wasn't asking about your knee, bro. I was asking about you. It's just funny. Little telltale signs like that.
See, that's why I can't wait to have that conversation. I think when we get to the Melfi scene, because I really want to have a deep dive of like Tony's feelings with Chris. It needs to be said, because after that, there's no more point to visit it, really. So I really want to have that conversation, because what you're saying is spot on, Rich. But Paulie seems to be taking it the hardest, as he says, I'm Chris's Dutch uncle. Do y'all really think Paulie really like Chris outside of the mob, like in a friend way?
No.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the killing was, man. That's why we're in this position. Like he realized in that moment, like, I don't even fuck with you, dude. I think Rich said it. Like you looking at, this is when you looking at a nigga and they do something, you be like, what the fuck am I like? Why am I hanging out with this motherfucker? Like, why? Like, I shouldn't even be around you. There's no reason for you and me to be close. All this fake cousin, nephew shit, like, you ain't built like me, bro. I do different shit. I'm a different type of dude. You a different type of dude from me. And it's detrimental to have somebody like you around.
Yeah. Remember Love Jones, man? She looked at her dude, Khalil, or whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. A dude that played Raheem and Juice. They said, all we have is all these years. Sometimes that's just what it is with people. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I've known you since I was 5, or I've dated you since I was 20, or what, if it wasn't for that, I would not fuck with you. All we have is time. Like, and
we grew up in the same neighborhood.
That's it. And we just happen to be born around the same time, and our peoples lived in the same area. That's the only connection we have. It doesn't have to be any deeper than that. Point. And people keep they keep relationships going longer than what they should be. But you can't do that in the mob, though. I guess that's fair to say. Also, you can't just cut off somebody in the mob. Like, you're there for life. You unfireable.
Yeah, you can't get fired in this thing. You know too much. I be honest, y'all. I think Paulie really cared about Chris, because I feel like the level that Paulie's pettiness went into is because he cared so much about Chris. Everybody knows the people that get you the hottest, that get you out of character, is the people you love the most. Everybody knows it could be that brother, it could be that cousin, it could be your girl. Those are the people that will get you out of character because you really love them so much that you're bothered by the audacity that you came at me this way. That's why I'm reacting so out of character, right? I genuinely believe that Paulie cared about Chris outside because he's doing the most by tearing up this man's yard. Like, or he, earlier season, like, I'm not the one with the shit bag. Like, he's doing the most with him, and they apologize. I'm sorry, man. We could have lost our lives. Like, yeah, me too. Like, like Paulie is not the type to apologize. Like he'll apologize to Tony because he's the boss. He'll scale back on Finn because that's the boss's daughter's boyfriend. But like Paulie don't care about nobody like that. But I think he care about Chris. That's why he could apologize. Because Paulie is not the type of nigga that ever would apologize to nobody. Like he don't care. Like bro, he don't. Man, come on. So I genuinely think that he cared. Chris was just a rarity for Paulie versus Tony, you know. So it's an interesting thing. Maybe one day we'll do it back at being had a conversation between the love and the rivalry between Paulie and Chrissy or whatever. But I think so.
Say love and hate's the same emotion.
Yeah, they a wise man said never mind. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
To the next scene, my nigga.
Hey, don't worry. I'm gonna drop another bar here coming soon. Don't worry about it. But we go to their Kelly's house. Well, you know, the Montesanti house, or well, I guess she didn't quite get the name. But we're at Kelly's house and they're grieving, and his father-in-law.
They was married. They was already married.
Were they married?
Yeah. Remember they got married quick. Remember he showed up at the Bing married.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I guess I thought he was
also
engaged.
Real quick, my fault. Spike. Earlier in the scene before they crashed, Tony asked, you know, how'd that thing go at your house the other day, the party? Did you watch that deleted scene we sent? That's what that was.
Hey, send it in the chat, Rich.
I already did. I sent it in the chat last week.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Remember me and Mo was talking about that deleted scene?
Yeah, well, I definitely know the deleted scene. I've seen
that's the scene they were talking about. They were referencing when Tony came through and realized, oh, you got a house full of motherfuckers. I ain't getting no invite. Okay,
they should have put that there because that's another block.
That would have been perfect.
That's another block on how we got to this Kennedy Heidi. That'd been another.
I'm just gonna go.
That would have gave it. I think that would have gave it away.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Be interesting.
The scene ain't that deep. Like to say, oh, I gotta whack you after this. It ain't that deep. You still think they just like you see that, you'll think, oh, they're just gonna play the politics all the way to the end of the series. You still don't think, oh, Tony's gonna whack him. Like that, it never comes up. Like, but yeah, they're at Kelly's house, and his father-in-law is just ungrateful and just disappointing. Like how he's acting about Chris, mad because he's gone. And then we find out that Nucci Gaultieri died from a stroke. Paulie's mom. Anything I want to add to this?
His mom's auntie.
Where's your uncle at?
You know that's a set. That's the way. Oh my god.
Pew 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 pew.
I still use that just randomly, like. But anyway, anything I want to add to that? That you know, Kelly house grieving scene or whatnot.
Fuck her dad. Fuck
bro,
her dad.
Bro.
Nigga.
He was acting like with Tony. For real, he was kind of acting like Tony. That's how Tony wanted that.
Yeah, facts.
Immediately said, fuck, Syracuse is losing. Like, what?
He was on some bullshit. The dad was on some bullshit.
Chris is doing all this to look out.
And I get you got to take care of your daughter more. I'm sure you can understand this, but still, man, you was on the up and up with me. Like I ain't never gave you no problems, bro. Like you sitting here acting like I was a pain in your ass.
Yeah.
You ain't showing me no respect, like nothing, man. Fuck you, like fuck her dad.
Yeah, for real.
That's real shit.
Get that nigga, man. What do you think about the news of Nucci?
I'm the producer, the film producer. He was just bragging about me now.
Yeah, like, nigga, get out of here. Made you all this money with the power tools and shit. I could give two fucks about Nucci, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Like this was a perfect way to kill her off, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
To tie up some loose ends. We got a couple episodes left. Whatever happened to Paulie's mom, you know what she did. Here you go, my nigga.
Kind of how it is.
You know what?
For a while, you gone for a while to get the news. Like, damn, shit. I was just talking about it a couple months ago. Like, yeah, man.
You know what she did.
Come at you fast.
Yeah. Just so happened she passed.
Remember when?
James been dead, as Bodie said.
That's a good one.
We'll go to Tony and Melfi, and Tony has a dream of telling Melfi that he basically he's going through the emotion of like he's Chris being an emotional addict and possibly giving him up to the feds, and it's a relief. Then he starts telling her about murdering friends, and then out of nowhere he wakes up from his dream. Boy, you talk about trolling back in the day, like bruh. Imagine how people were at the time, like, yo, this nigga is going crazy on like he's telling everything, and then of course we get Tony waking up.
Yeah.
And you got anything you want to add to that?
Nah, just that's how Tony felt. That's what he really wanted to say. That's how his true emotions are. That's all that scene was there for. And we'll get into more as we get into the real Melfi scene. But I always looked at it like, yep, that's exactly how he's feeling. He just can't say it.
Yeah.
Even the one place where you're supposed to be letting everything go, you can't say, I murdered people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then Tony gets up and he's about to make some coffee, and then he tosses the Cleaver mug into the forest. Tony says his daughter kind of looks Chris's daughter kind of looks like him, but that isn't going to do her any favors when puberty kicks in with that schnoz. The same schnoz that he murdered him on.
Damn.
That's crazy.
The disdain that he has from him, watching this the first time through, it's like, damn, where did all that come from?
Yeah. Yep.
But now that we watched this and we've discussed this and we talked about it and we've pointed out that the small things throughout the season, throughout the series, it's like, oh, of course I'm not going to keep a Cleaver mug. Of course I'm going to kill this nigga. Of course I'm going to have a dream about telling Dr. Melfi how satisfying it is to kill this nigga. I don't fuck with him. I put him in the best position I believe possible as Tony Soprano, knowing what it takes to get here. I put you in the best fucking position to be that dude, and you fucking drugged your way, had fucking informant wives. Like, you did everything you could to detriment what I was trying to do and prove for you. And I know we give Tony a hard time. We say, well, how could we root for him, seeing him in this episode? But it fits to his leadership style.
You
like,
understand
bro,
how you got there.
I know how you got here. He doing the same thing that Junior did with him. Like, bro, you're not a varsity athlete, bro. I was mistaken. Like, you definitely not a varsity athlete.
There's a point I was gonna make and I cannot remember. I just lost it.
I feel the same way. Spike was killing that. Well, I'll say that Carmela's doing this weird thing, bringing up the aid thing again.
Oh,
go ahead.
This is to tie it into On Deck. Shout out to another podcast done by one of our brothers, Spike Lee.
Check that out. Appreciate that.
Everything you just said reminded me. This is Tony and Chris or Cam and Jim.
Jim. Yep.
Like, y'all, hold on. Whoa, hold on. You've been with him for this long? You've been feeling this way for how long?
Right. Now he a little nigga. Now he's son.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, you've been with him since the 90s, my nigga. Like, Tony, you held Chris. You told stories about you going up to Uncle Pat's farm, and like, how long you been feeling this way about this man? Like, you telling the fellas about how he died explicitly. He didn't have a seatbelt on, kind of blaming it on him. You do some nasty shit at the table with Carmela. Like, bro, how long you been feeling this way? And that's been your man's for this long, your nephew, your pride and joy.
Do y'all?
It's real. It's sick, man. Like, damn, I didn't even know you felt that way.
Why you on that?
I'd rather somebody hate my guts openly than secretly.
Absolutely. So why you on that?
Don't secretly despise me, nigga. Don't secretly despise me.
That's the worst. That's the worst. Because when you catch me off guard about your dislike or your hatred, like it has long-term effects. Because now slick. You don't affect just my viewpoint on you. You affect my hesitancy on everybody. Like, it's a real thing. Like, it holds more weight than just you. Once I figure out that you secretly have felt this way about me.
That's the worst kind of hate. That's worse than hating on a nigga in public, like posting about him on social media. The slick, I fuck with you. I'm around you. I hang around you on a daily basis or a weekly basis, but I don't like you. And I'm looking at you with the side eye with every decision you make. Like, that's the worst kind of hate right there.
Yeah, I thought we was good.
Like, because it's so unassuming. If I'm
Yeah.
a nigga that's getting to it like Tony, I shouldn't have to worry about shit like that. So,
Which I think that was. I still ain't. That was a specific point I wanted. But Tony asked. There's something Tony says. Rich. Tony asked the wildest and most interesting question, or maybe it's a statement rather. When I called about the
sick, bro, sick.
When I called about the accident, there seemed to be a twinge, very small bit of relief, bruh. Like,
even
just
if that was true, Tony, what the fuck? So, like, don't bring that shit up, bro. Like,
tell her
sick,
she had a twinge of relief.
Tony's sick.
This is her actual blood, though. Like, y'all not blood, but they are. Like,
yeah, it's a sick question.
And then he got a backpedal.
Like, he didn't even try to dance around it.
He backpedaled like a mug too, boy. He damn near back swam. Cause he's like, oh, no, you know.
Cause he, once again, you crying tears over this nigga,
he
man.
Asking for he asking for an out. He asking for it from like the person that I feel like that know me the best. Maybe you felt the same way that I did. Maybe you thought about Christopher the same way that I did. Maybe you thought he was a cancer. Maybe you thought he was this person who was bringing all this detrimental shit to my life. Can I relate with you on that level?
Yeah, he was hoping for
I
it.
see what y'all saying, but I think that's what marriage is, though.
No,
like,
no
that's
doubt.
what that
no doubt.
That's the reason that we see all the infidelities and things where Tony is looking for another source when he's in the Whitecaps episode, when he like their major differences, this is where it comes out at on a much more calm level, because you're dealing with a death in the family, but he's asking, like, do you get me? Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And she confirms, like, no, I don't get you. I live this life. I take these perks. I get the stuff that I get from it for my world. It ain't got shit to do with you. I think this was a deep scene, like, as far as Carmela and Tony's dynamic. Like, this confirms for Tony as well, in the sense of, with Carmela, like, you know me, but you don't know me. And we as men, all men sitting here, we've had these relationships with women. When you have that conversation and she say something, you're like, nah, this'll never work. It ain't nothing obvious and ain't nothing really like, but this is something like, I can never be with you.
Yeah.
Glass breaking. That I always mention How I Met Your Mother. There's a scene where they sometimes
Let me find out you watch How I Met Your Mother.
Come on, that's my shit. But there's a famous episode where Ted Mosby brings this girl around, and everybody, like, she has this one like trait that everybody sees except for him, because he's so infatuated with her. Then once it's brought to his attention, the glass shatters and he sees it, and they was like, "Oh, I can't fuck with you."
Mm-hmm.
No different Seinfeld and the man hands. Like, I just some little thing. Like,
the man hands is crazy, bro.
I can't fuck with you. The
way
you breaking that lobster, I'm at dinner. You break
pool, bro.
I can't fuck with you, man. So yeah,
shout out to me and G, man. Into the Seinfeld, man. Who knows? The Seinfeld pod might be coming. Nah.
the pod about nothing.
A pod about nothing, huh?
Oh.
Oh man. Yeah, y'all making some great points. Very, very, very captivating points.
Tony's sick.
He is, and we're getting close to the diagnosis.
Sick man with sick thoughts.
Absolutely. I'm just a sicko, real sicko when you get to know me, nigga. Tony and Melfi, we go to that session, and Tony's saying his mother gets to reap sympathy tears. Like that's something to achieve. Like he was like real, like big mad about it, bro. That's what made me like Tony.
But that's real though.
It is real, but it's like
that's a real emotion people be feeling.
It is though. You're right. But he's like, bro, I'm like, bro, this is not like a monetary thing by her getting sympathy from her tears, bro. And you whacked her, by the way. I mean, whacked
Yeah, I
her
don't even.
son, by the way.
Yeah, Tony's just miserable. He a miserable prick. What can I say?
I
Like, he
said, this is
said
day
it.
what?
He said it, man. This is if there's no other episode. He just. I get the feeling though. I don't. When I say I get it, I don't mean I understand it. Like I relate,
Yeah.
but I understand why he feels that way. I understand, like, you was a shitty person. You had your own, issues. You're the reason, kind of, why he's fucked up today. And not once did you ever, in my opinion, Tony being Tony, in my opinion, did you not, never did you have a good moment where you were a good mother. And now here you are boohooing, you crying, people coming up to you, making sure you good. They should be coming up to me. Like I raised Chris as much as you raised him. I taught Chris how to be a man. I'm sure that's what Tony feels, and I'm thinking that's a lot of resentment. Even in Chris's death, this still should be about me, and I should be mentioned. Like,
This
I should be mentioned in the obituary. I should be mentioned in the speeches. Any speech about anything good about Tony, it should be. I mean, about Chris, it should mention, like, and it's all happened because he had somebody like Tony in his corner. That's how Tony feels, man. It's sick.
good point. Your point, Chris. I mean, good point, Rich.
I
And
said,
and
please.
also, I meant to say good point about Chris, but this also goes to a famous Christopher line. It's all a big nothing. And this is Tony looking at it and realizing, oh, this is all a big nothing. Y'all are lying. Y'all the same motherfuckers that came and had this intervention in my house. Y'all the same motherfuckers like Paulie, you beefing with him and riding through his yard. Now it's all a big weep show. Like y'all didn't fuck with him. And me, I was the only person that did fuck with him. I'm the one that kept him rolling through this long and I made y'all fuck with him, but now he's gone and all y'all trying to act like he was just this such great person. I
He was a
remember
saint.
y'all coming. Yeah, I remember y'all coming to me and being like Chris full of shit. And now y'all acting like it's different because he dead. Like it's a masterful performance and writing sense in the like what they did with this as far as the whole thing. Like it's a masterful thing because Tony is now realizing that's all a big nothing.
Yeah.
And,
It's a Chris line. That shit fire.
and
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
they sewn these concepts so tight. It's sewn very tight, and watching all of everything just connects. It's interweaved perfectly. You know what I mean?
Also, just real quick, Mo, Tony even tried to do the same thing. He
Yeah.
tried to be the victim in the brief moment where he could be the victim with Melfi. Oh, I'm struggling. He was like, finally, you know what, man? You know what? All of this is a big nothing. To what Spike just said. Actually, I'm relieved, and I'm relieved that I can actually say that somewhere and not feel bad about it. I don't give a fuck that nigga dead. He was a cloud over my head.
Yeah.
He could have been the reason that everything I love and know is gone. Like, whatever, fuck him.
And, you
So
know, you
even
got
he had to talk himself out of that feeling.
which makes sense. And we're gonna get to another part of this conversation. It's an interesting thing. Like I'm not saying that any of us ever felt that way. Like, oh, I'm glad he did. That helps all of my problems. But on a lighter scale, like everybody's had somebody in their life was like, bro, every time you come around, like you're gonna make my whole situation more difficult. You always do, and I love you, but God, every time you come around, you make it so difficult. You can it never be simple. You can never just come through and chill like you said you was gonna chill, or never come through and hang, or just be in each other's presence. It's always something with you. And man, or am I okay with the fact that like I ain't that presence is not around?
And that usually happens when you become more powerful and you obtain more wealth, success, money. Because
Facts.
you literally can't afford to have this goofy shit around me no more.
Yeah.
Like, you just elevate past people. Some people you just don't call for. When it's time for vacation, you just don't call.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Facts.
But Tony says the Adriana situation is the camel that broke the camel's back. Is the not the
Straw?
camel, the straw that broke the camel's back. I wrote my notes weird. All right. This is a scene I've been, really wanting to get to. So the Adriana situation. Now I want to get y'all opinion on this because I did some real internal thinking, kind of almost damn near meditating on how we got there. Because Chase is being very intentional when he puts the words into Tony Soprano to say this. So what do y'all think? Is this what the is this what the what broke the camel's back? The Adriana thing?
What's more context to what you mean? The Adriana thing. What you mean?
Well, he said basically that he couldn't do it, so I took care of it for him, which he's referring to when Chris came to him and said, Adriana basically is working with the feds. He's like, I can't do it. And Tony pretty much set it up, gave her the 52 fake out, sent her with Seal, and then obviously Seal whacked her. So he says that's where everything went left. And then obviously we see a lot of things that happen.
Just briefly, I think he said it while he was talking to Melfi. I picked up the slack.
Yep.
Tony looks at all of this like, here I am saving you once again. Tony doesn't see the emotional, wow, the woman I love, the woman I plan a future with, the woman I plan on having my children, the woman that I'm through and through with, thick and thin. He doesn't see that side about her having to go and why you're emotional about that. He looks at it as you're too weak to take care of a problem that we all know needs to be dealt with in this world. And I got to come save you from it. I got to pick up the slack. I got to do the hard work.
And it puts me in danger.
And it's that and hypocritical because there's been plenty of times where Tony was supposed to do decisions, make decisions.
Yep.
Artie Bucco got a shotgun pointed at you. Chris shot up your car. You should have been made those decisions. Chris was on drugs. A lot of things that should have happened. Ralphie, when you decide that you want to get rid of Ralphie, Ralphie's gone. You pick and choose. So here you are talking about you picked up the slack, but you also, Chris knew how he could do that because he learned it from you, if anything.
Maybe he could have stayed in the bracket.
Only for this episode.
Right. Nah. I ain't only for this episode. He got a lot of
Well, not only, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he got a lot of what was like, hey. But yeah, he says that he doesn't feel anything.
I believe him.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I believe him.
I think he
has to leave.
He's been mad for
Tony.
a while.
Yeah,
and not just to go to Atlantic City. He has to go across the country. Like I'm sick of all y'all niggas.
I'm not feeling anything for Chris. That's the point that he's gotten to this relationship. Like, y'all not finna come to me crying. Y'all not finna come to me saying all these great things. When I remember the shit that he put me through, I'm not doing that with y'all. And this is people really don't talk about death when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, you mourn, you go to the funerals, you cry with your family and friends or whatever it may be, but you don't talk about, damn, this is how I feel about this. That's just not something that we do. And for him to be like the only person to realistically lean into how he was feeling, that has to be frustrating. And we look at it like, as we can as viewers, like, he a piece of shit person. But that's the reality of it in this world. Like, bro, I don't fuck with him. I don't give a fuck that he's dead. I killed him. He was a bad person. So
he wants to tell people he murked him for real. He wish he could tell people. Yeah, I got that nigga up out of here. Packed him up.
We're in at the end. It's like he's so paranoid. It's so much now, but it's like, bro, he really want to get his old dog on. You know what I mean? Like throwing the video on.
Real shit.
No, not old dog. I'm tripping.
No, you right.
His old dog. I'm thinking
I'm gonna sell these motherfuckers for $59.99.
I'm thinking about paid in full as well. That's what I think. Like with Cameron.
Oh, Rico.
Yeah, Rico. I'm hitting my
old dog is perfect because he did the old dog caught the body and was showing everybody the tape. Like, bro, calm down.
That's crazy work.
That's like, what Tony wants to do. He wants to let everybody know. Yeah, I got him up out of here.
Hitting the rewind on murking somebody on camera is crazy.
And was dead ass serious about selling them tapes.
Crazy.
So these motherfuckers, $59.99.
Yeah, they nailed that because we really thought they would do some really ignorant young men, young boys. We go to Chris's funeral, and Juliana, aka Kaisha, comes to Chris's funeral and says she used to buy her meat at Sack Shells when Right.
Oh,
When
how to meet you by?
with Carmella smoked sausage. With
Smoked sausage is crazy. Jesus Christ.
selling sausage samples.
I got to smoke sausage for the low.
No, for the low. But this is by far one of the most interesting, accurate women depictions to me. Carmella does this thing that I've seen in my real life. I probably have at some point.
Who the fuck is you?
Bruh. She's nice looking. Like you start like doing the up and down view, you start to recognize, and you start looking at your man like, did you see it? Did you notice the, bruh.
Carmella knows Tony. Carmella knows. I look at this woman and I know this is the type of woman Tony will fuck.
And
now you have a connection. You're showing up to the funeral. How do you know her for real? This is not the time or place. That's exactly what Carmella's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know the type of woman Tony would take down. You would take her down. And y'all talking.
Yeah.
This is the women. This is what confuses men about women intuition, because most like you can be cheating and they have nothing. They have no idea what's going on, and you like, how she don't realize this. But you can be in this situation and her act like this, and you're like, damn, how the fuck she know? How she know what's going on? Because I know you, nigga.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a good
niggas
thing.
To be honest, like I say, just tell the truth, bro.
Carmella walked away, good looking woman. Stop.
Yeah.
I'd have been, that's when, since Tony don't give a fuck, that's when you start saying shit like, yeah, I know I try to hit.
All right. Yeah, I know is where we got to drop off. Like, you say I tried to hit.
Nah, you want to say some goofy shit trying to be funny? Let's be funny. I bet I'm funnier than you.
Oh man, don't get me wrong now. When the accusations get heavy, I'm gonna lean all the way to, okay, we doing that? All right. Let me help your imagination. All right, anyways. We go to so that's a part of the funeral. I thought it was really interesting. Was she coked up? Did y'all get that idea that she was coked up because she was like blowing her nose kind of deal, or was she just like
she was definitely on something? No, she was definitely on something.
Okay. All right. That was like a little subtlety that I thought
You got the mic I just went away.
Yeah, hear me now?
Like you was in a factory.
Well, I didn't move, so even though the background's the same, I'm in a whole different situation. Dave East.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that tweet. This chick made the tweet. Like
that's why it's so funny, because I seen it.
Yeah, Dave East make music for niggas that work at Amazon at third shift.
Hey, listen, yeah,
man. And that nigga
just
had a new project out.
It's a collab.
I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It's a collab with Ransom. I ain't mad at it either.
See, but you like New York rap though.
Niggas that need
no, Rich.
Who you talking to?
Rich.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
Nah, me and you on the same page.
You damn near offended me with that. Like, nigga,
nah, me and you on the same page. We both like
Hey,
but Rich damn near New York for real.
Mike said to the dead serious, like there's niggas that need that. Like I'm not one of them, but somebody.
No, you not.
Needs
you
that
not.
new
You my
Dave
nigga. It's niggas that need that Dave East.
No, they do though. Like it's like, bro, you got the waist back belt on. You know what I mean? Because you about to be able to do.
When you driving a forklift?
Yeah, for real. Like it's real out there. Like I feel you.
The funniest thing about that tweet, I think somebody commented said, "Damn, I work at Amazon and I'm listening to this East."
Dang.
Hey,
it was one of them moments.
Rich gonna hate this, but Gibbs the same thing.
Nah, Gibbs, he is though. I can admit it. I can admit it.
Gibbs rap for the same niggas.
Disrespectful. We from the same state too. Like, bro, come on.
Not for real, man. Listen, I love Gibbs, but I've been to Gibbs concerts. I've seen the people at Gibbs concerts. Them niggas got on the team Jordans. They wear team Jordans. They don't buy the retros.
Bruh.
They buy the Dub Zeros.
Hey, hold on. I rock with the Dub Zeros though.
It's people listening to us like Amanda, the mixed girl. Like, what the fuck are they talking about right
Hey,
now?
listen, I did the corny, hey, check out my mixtape thing many years ago with Freddie Gibbs, bro. Like, I was like, oh, we from the same state, we should link. Like, bro, it was mad corny.
Hey, man.
What are you gonna do though? You know, I had no reach, I had no marketing.
Probably worked out for the better for you.
It did. It did. I got bars, but I have no desire to rap, but I still got bars.
Yeah, talk about, so that's a perfect example for this episode. Gibbs, as much as I love his music, I would not want to hang out with Gibbs. Like I could see that not going well.
You'll be looking, Rich. I fuck with you. You'll be looking at Gibbs like Tony looked at
Yeah, like I just
in the
like
truck.
Chris in the car. He was looking at him like that look that Tony that bro. We already talked about it. There's like three looks. Bobby looking at Tony on Soprano home movies.
That's probably the look right there.
Chris,
Gibbs will say some wild shit. Gibbs will say some wild shit that make you be like, hold up, what?
Bro, Chris looking at Bobby and walk like a man when he was like, oh, what happened? And Chris was really like, bro, I'm talking to Tony. And he looking at Bobby, that look, and then this look when they're in the car, and Tony's doing that like low-key Kanye West look that Kanye be doing where he stops smiling and he just be like staring at you weird. Yeah, like it was hilarious.
We're getting too black. People.
It's too late. It's too late. We in the 80s. There's 86 episodes. We're in the 80s. Like
we're getting too black. It's
too late now. Y'all know what y'all here for. It's an intro. But yeah, so yeah, Juliana's there, and then we see the lead actor there, one of the Baldwin brothers that played Tony, and they make eye contact. And this is where I want to get to. This is the real reason the separation between Tony and Chris happened. Obviously, we know it's Cleaver, but it's rooted in Adriana. And this is why I want to say this. Because when Tony said it, I was like, nah, it's really the movie that pushed you over the edge. But I realized, no, if you never almost smashed Adriana going on a coke run, he would have never even had the concept of a revenge film calling it Cleaver. Y'all think the same? What do y'all think?
I never thought about it in that way, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, chain reaction.
Mm-hmm. Because Cleaver is really the ultimate thing, but like you got to go back to the root of it. It's a revenge film. He rewriting history of what he thought happened between them two.
That definitely changed the relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
This nigga throwing sandwiches at Vito. Like Chris is on edge, man.
And you got to think, you almost slept with my girl, then I had you to have to whack my girl.
And we had to eat dinner in public. Like shit was sweet.
That's deep. That's some deep pain right there, bro. That's some deep complication.
And Chris probably died thinking that Tony really did fuck Aid.
He definitely did. Because remember, he said it don't matter if you did or you didn't. It's the fact that they think it. So he never really agreed. Like Tony's. Remember when Tony about shot him out there? He's like, I need you to tell me that you believe otherwise. And Chris still was standing on business. Like, no, nigga. Like, I still believe that you might have smashed my girl. What are you gonna do?
To quote Hov, you share that girl. Hey man, is that your? Hey, listen, them verses and is that your chick? It's some of the most disrespectful.
Oh man,
why you home alone? Watch me out with me from 112 Hotel. How she say, Jay? You can call the house for me. Come on, man.
Nigga said he left condoms in your baby seat.
Oh, that's super ugly, man. But nice.
How thirsty is you?
Hey man, nah. She said you can call the house for me. Like your man don't live there. Like, come on, man. There's no respect at all. You better check it, dog. Anyway,
hey,
too black.
Really, that's really on that Tony Gumar. What's her name?
Irina.
Yeah, that was really on some like I used to.
Hey, you find out your girl out here telling niggas you can call the crib. Don't even worry about if a nigga answer. What?
That's
Hey,
ridiculous.
hold on. We ain't gonna say this out here on the episode. All of them, because y'all both know what I'm talking about. That would have been on that list that I sent y'all. That would have been on that list.
Oh, the DV.
Bro, what the fuck?
Nobody knows what that means. Yes. Developmental vices is what that means.
Keep going, Mo.
That's what that means. Man. Developmental vices. Y'all do your Googles, nigga. All right. I took a straight detour, man. You wild for even sending us that.
I was stunned by the title.
Hey, no, the fact that dude did it is like he's really a bold, like he's for real about his content.
He becoming one of my favorite follows.
He's hilarious. Oh, bro, real quick. Have you seen the bald dude that does like he does the emails, like he's typing to somebody, but then he gives his real reaction? Spike, I'm gonna
the
send
emails when it's send it to me. I ain't seen it.
Please do not let it sit because I'm sure you got a ton of DMs, people just there, and you don't check out because you don't have no desire. I'm gonna send it as soon as we get off here. This dude is hilarious because he
and nigga Mo know me, don't it?
I do. Dude sent what he does is he writes the emails in like the corporate way, and then he cuts it and he responds like a nigga.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, like then he'll cut it like nigga, don't send it to me. I'm gonna send it to you. Both y'all. I really want y'all to see it. So y'all hit me back in the chat. Matter of fact, I'll text you. I won't even DM it. But anyway, so all that's going on at his funeral, and Tony calls Chris's mother James Brown now.
Man, listen, when I tell you a genuine laugh out loud moment every single time.
Why James?
Because but not even that, just because like this woman is grieving. Like she's legit grieving and Tony doesn't buy it. He thinks it's an act. And the fact that this woman is on her knees and people gotta help her, and all you thinking about is fucking James Brown now is fucking hilarious to me. And why, like you said, Mo, why James Brown on everybody? Like,
get up, get on up.
Where did James Brown come from?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like
that's what makes it even more funny.
That's racist.
Like, Tony's disgusted by everybody, man. Tony,
that's
like,
racist.
That's racist.
That's racist. That's some of the racist shit that we talk about,
bro.
David Chase,
that
bro.
Is,
that's
I'm
racist.
sorry. You got a lot of rock.
Fuck?
You got a lot of rock bands.
Why couldn't it have been Elvis? Why fucking Elvis Presley now? Like what
Elton
the fuck
John?
Why did it have to be James Brown, bro? That's racist, bro. David Chase is a racist. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I gotta go with that too, bro. Like it's been too many episodes.
David
where,
Chase is racist. Bro.
You giving us strays for no reason. Like you having too much fun with like doing this. You definitely racist.
Like
bro.
where did that come from? God, that's crazy.
Anybody else, bro? Anybody? James Brown, the blackest of. All right. Are you on the bandwagon with us, Rich?
For what?
Is he racist?
I don't know, man. Sure.
Look at it. We might still get. He like. I might still get.
Rich waiting on that call from David Chase still. That's what I'm saying. Rich still. That's why Rich better than us. That's why Rich better than us, Mo. Like we're gonna go emotional. We're gonna go emotional. Rich more buttoned up than we is. He was like, I don't know. Like David Chase may hit us up.
Well, there's a part of me that always that thinks every white person's racist, but that's another week in the book conversation.
That's y'all finna say. We can talk about that.
Oh, that's interesting.
About that.
I'm never surprised, but yeah,
I actually want to have. I want to have my white friend on for that conversation, Rich. We need to talk about it.
Then I'm gonna ask him how many times he said nigga.
No, you gotta have pre-production conversation though, because you gotta understand when you got white friends and white buddies, they're not the white apologists.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm just asking.
I'm just saying, like, just
what does that mean? What does that mean before you move forward?
Speaking for all white people. And
yes.
Like,
speaking on behalf of all white people, because if you don't, if you don't feel that you're speaking on all behalf of black people, then you can't like necessarily look like, oh, you're speaking on, because I know one white guy or white woman out of so many, you know what I mean? Like you got to definitely pre-production have a conversation.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's another conversation. We getting off.
Okay,
fair
enough.
You're right. You're right. I see what y'all saying.
But randomly,
it's
so
hot in these jackets. I don't see how y'all niggas do this shit,
bro. You see, you ain't got a fan in there, do you?
Struggle.
See, I ain't sexed the studio up like that, man.
Jesus Christ!
I'm a producer. I got a fan
Can't
blowing.
believe niggas potting. Y'all niggas potting through this shit, man. God damn.
Bro, don't act like you ain't had no hoodie on, bro. I didn't see you with a hoodie.
You ain't seen me in the hood in a while.
You ain't had a
We
beanie
talked about that.
on.
We talked about that on deck.
I
Like
know.
I
I
ain't want
listen.
no,
I know,
I ain't want no hoodie in a while. Like nigga, it's
bro.
t-shirt,
You gotta have a
gold
desk fan.
chain.
You
Bro.
ain't got a desk fan,
I don't. You're right.
bro.
I
You
will
10
need.
years in this. Get a desk fan. Stop. Reward yourself. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All
I will do that. I'm gonna do that this weekend. Actually.
Yes, sir. Hey, send a picture. Seriously, I'm serious, man. Reward yourself. Get yourself a desk fan for real.
I'll do that this weekend.
So Carm tells him that he should go to the wake, Paulie's mom's wake, which is so interesting because women just are really excellent like this. Like you're so locked into this, and Tony really don't care about it. He's ready for it to be over with, and you forget there's a whole nother person that like one of your guys really care about, and that he's lost his mom. And Paulie is mad that nobody is at Nucci's wake. And we get down to the real issue. He got 500 prayer cards. I don't know if that costs money. Do y'all know if that costs money at all?
It does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything costs money.
Gotta
Everything
pay
you
for
see at
that,
a
bro.
funeral costs money.
Facts.
This is kind of payback for like Paulie when they had the, I don't remember what the saint was that they had for the little like fair, and he cut corners on them on those rides and everything. I'm like, bro, it's kind of like payback for that, low key.
But there's some.
Real quick, you know what's even more crazy? Tony's probably sitting there thinking he's probably upset with her that you got the nerve to die right now. Now I got to come to your funeral. There's no sympathy from Tony. He probably looking at it like, I blame you for dying at the time you died because now I got to wait. Now I got to get my ass up and take my ass over here.
Now he really like, man, you ain't even his real mama.
Man,
like, he playing a different tune now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, before you even get into the scene, just a real quick question. When Kelly came to the funeral and Tony was looking at her, do you think Tony was having that look like, man,
knock her down?
Yeah. Do you think that's that look that Tony was giving?
I don't think that.
Jackie Kennedy
it's a hard read. It's a hard read, bro. It's a really hard read. I don't know.
The fact that I'm asking this and you have to think about it just lets you know how sick Tony is. Like the fact that none of us are immediately saying, nah, man, Tony ain't that bad. It's crazy. But I just always curious because he looked at her like on some.
We thought that there's a possibility.
If there were more episodes, it would have happened. I'll say that.
He would have tried.
Bro, we thought
if there were more episodes, I could see him pulling up to the crib and that happened.
We thought about the possibility of him smashing Blanca. So, you know what I mean?
Like you
did.
did. I think you were the only person that thought that.
I definitely wouldn't know.
I did.
We got some listeners. I see what you tried to do there. You tried to put me in a not like us bag, but it's all right. Oh, man, I'm so glad that's over with. So yeah, and they go over there. Tony pretty much like, bro, who gives a damn? Like, who cares? Like, and Paulie purchasing 500 prayer cards. Like, nigga, you don't even know 500 people. What makes you think Nucci does? That was nuts.
And bro, stop being a dipshit and having this shit on the same day as Christopher's passing too. I just scheduled it the day before or day after, man. Stop being a fucking dipshit and then taking all this shit personal when no one comes to your shit. Of course, more people are gonna come to Christopher's wake than your fucking mom / auntie. We don't even know what she is to you, bro.
Yeah.
You was shitting on her to
Facts.
us.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like this is a very detrimental to the character of Paulie Walnuts in the last couple of episodes. Starting it. This was starting it. Like they just made him like to be stupid, and he's not stupid. Yeah. I give you remember when. I just don't. I don't. It wasn't good. Like this could have been done differently. This was like you were talking about with the asbestos dumping in the first scene. But this is just a filler. Like this is just something where you like, oh, there's a suit out beef here with Tony because like, bro, no. In real life, what would have happened is, oh, Christmas is this day. I'm going to do this on another day. It's simple.
Or just have Tony not show up, and that builds towards possibilities of Made in America.
Good point.
Like he's like next door, and he's like, and he sees
I'm not
Tony
even
walk
fucking
off.
with.
Yeah, he sees Tony walk off like, oh, for real? All right. We go to AJ and his therapist, and the meds seem to be working, and he's taking a few classes unofficially. They see the guy. They see the guy that they had injured, and they call him Long John's shithead, and they laugh at him. I don't got nothing. Do you have anything to add?
Man had to have some toes amputated, man. I ain't give a fuck, man. Ruthless.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a few things together because all these are kind of brief. So Tony makes a call to leave because he needs to get out of town.
I'm sorry, man. I know you put them together, man. I just gotta say, Tony's sick, man. Tony, because we've all been in that situation where you just look at what's going on. I'm like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I can't do it. But
I'm
just
out.
the fact going back to my point about Kelly, he saw that titty come out and was like, let me get a quick little stare from up here. I thought about Martin Lawrence when he had that joke on Run Till and the baby make the titty look good.
Stupid.
And then he got a little glance and was like, yeah, I'm
what
out
a
of here.
pull. Man. What a pull.
The Run Till that pull?
Yeah, the Run Till that pull was crazy.
Yeah, I'll admit, I'm impressed with myself.
That was a bag. That was a bag right there.
Yeah, that was a deep dive right there.
Only Tony would be not only Tony, but Tony would be creeping up to get a little see what that titty looking like. I saw you at the funeral looking good, girl. What's up?
I mean, Kelly is very, very attractive. Like, let's be very clear. Like, we ain't spent a lot of time talking about Kelly's looks, but she's definitely one of the one. I would say.
It's insane because she's not even the most attractive person in this episode.
Absolutely not. We foreshadowed this, and now we're here. And when we get to her, we had her at the top. I remember I said when we thought about it, I said, "Oh, yeah, she's at the top." But there was a few
it's really not close.
I wouldn't say all that.
I would.
Blanca?
There's a shot. There's a shot of her in the Caesars. I don't know, Bellagio, wherever they are with that black dress.
So you wouldn't say, okay, so Blanca's not there. Okay, what about
Aid, whoever, bruh.
Vito's Gumar?
Whoever.
That's crazy. Vito's Gumar, like, you might have to go back.
Whoever.
She's got it though. She's definitely got it. But you saying like Blanca not close is like crazy. That's all I'm saying. Like not close at all. Like you say like it's a distance. Maybe if we seen Blanca in this vibe instead of this like kind of grumpy.
I think Spike ruined Blanca for me when we did Entourage. I just think of her playing Turtles Girl driving an Uber.
Okay,
every time I see her, I think of that. Spike fucked that up for me.
All right, that's fair. I appreciate your acknowledging your bias. Like that's
I ain't gonna hold you. I think that's part of it. That is part of it. Like
that's fine. I ain't gonna even go crazy on
I was just gonna say, how did I ruin Blanca?
That makes sense because he's like, bro, you going crazy over. Yeah,
Uber driver playing pity pat, having a makeout session. You in your 30s having makeout sessions, trying to touch it, trying to finger bang her.
Yeah,
what the fuck are we doing? You brought me to Mexico so I can make out with you, and you a fucking Uber driver.
Man, she was going crazy. Like, shout out to Entourage. Entourage is next series we're doing. No, I'm just playing. Like, Entourage. So
revolt.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, we'll wait till the next series.
Yeah.
But cool. Tony's at the casino. AJ is in class. Tony out at the pool in the Caesar Palace. This is mad fly. Like all this stuff kind of moves quickly. They give us a lot of scenes, but they all kind of flow. And then Tony meets Sonia, who we've been talking about, me and Rich. So my question is to y'all when we get to that, because I don't have nothing to add to like the casino or AJ in class or Tony at the pool at the Caesar Palace. This is the Caesar Palace, right?
Yeah, the Caesars.
Okay. But Tony meets Sonia. What is she to Chris?
Gumar of some sort. That's how I always looked at it. Like some kind of sexual connection.
Okay. Because I was like, is she his dealer out in Vegas?
Nah, I just think that they connected, and you meet a woman like that that's fucking with you, and as someone who let me hold on.
My man, in real time, he was like,
A lot of people know about what it's like to have contacts. in different cities. Like I just want to make sure I'm good when I'm here.
Okay.
And that's just kind of what it is. I could not see Chris letting her. Yo, I will come back to Vegas, and I got the means and the access to do it. And we just gonna stay in touch, and that's just how it works.
Okay,
like,
so this is just his Vegas connect. Like we
like
link
a Vegas
up.
connect. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna link up. I'll hit you up, and I'm in Vegas. One day that you might, that text on turn green, and it's just gonna be it is what it is. But until then,
how does Tony find out about this connect?
Chris told him. I think this was a good mark for real because Tony knew enough about her to go see her. Now the question is, did Tony go out here specifically for her? Is that why he chose Vegas? Because Vegas isn't I need to get away town in the way that Tony's doing it.
He could have went to Miami again with Beansy.
Yeah, but you can.
I just went down there though. I gotta go to Vegas. Yeah, I just went down there. I'm going to my spot. I'm going out to Vegas.
Yeah, given what Tony likes, and I was just about to say, Vegas can be whatever you want it to be. If you just want to have a massage day and have spas and sit by the pool, you can do that. If you want to gamble all day, you can do that. If you want to try to get restaurants, you can do that. Go to the shows, go to the strip club, buy you some hookers. You can do all of that in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas and Miami, that's a different vibe.
Yeah. So I can see Tony coming with the suit. I'm about to gamble a little bit. I'm about to eat a nice steak dinner. I remember Chris said he got a cold chick out here. Let me see what she talking about. Give her the news
and let her know what's going on. See, can I move in on her? Adding more into the piece of shit aspect of what Tony is.
Yeah, because there's nothing about Tony this episode that makes me think he's concerned about making sure Chris's connects know about what happened.
Yeah.
Unless he genuinely enjoys telling people and seeing the look on their face when I get to let you know, hey, this piece of shit died.
Maybe a sympathy bang.
Whoa.
It could be.
Tony or her?
Tony.
She hot too.
Like I always think he set it up like that.
Bro, hey, she real high on the list, bro. She high on the list. Y'all were talking about the list.
We had her number one.
So it's not even close. It's not even. It's not. For me, it's
not
close.
Rich is jumping out the window on.
I'm gonna show you the scene when she's in that casino in that black dress when they on peyote.
She is fine.
I may still go Gloria.
And she on your show. She on your show, Spike.
What's that?
Paradise.
That's the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, shit.
Bro,
are you sure?
I'm positive.
Bro, you didn't have Gloria that high. I think you had Valentina over Gloria. Like you,
Richie. That's Richie chick.
No, that was Valentina was Ralph's chick, and then I already took his horse
and switched to Tony. Excuse me, that's what I meant, Ralph.
Yeah, so you mean
she in the same ballpark as Valentina.
Well, Gloria and Valentina like in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you put Blanca above?
These three, those are the three. Her right here,
Sonia,
Gloria,
and Valentina.
So
Blanca is under them.
That's the.
We just talking about attractiveness, not like Uber.
Blanca. You talking about like AJ
Princess.
chick?
Yeah.
AJ chick under them. Yeah, she ain't got what they got.
Okay,
they got something different. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like there's one more like really.
I don't know if that's the same chick, Rich.
I guarantee you $1 million.
I thought the chick that was playing in Paradise was the chick from Vegas. Like if you watch that show, Las Vegas, when the chick Sam was on there,
Sarah
I thought that
Shahi.
was her.
You can Google it right now. She is on. That's her
the same
right here,
chick.
and she is. Yep, she's a doctor on Paradise. That's the same woman.
She fine, motherfucker.
Though. She really got it. They nailed it because it definitely feels like LA vibes. Like it feels like you're in LA, or you're in Cali. You know what I mean? Rather, and I guess Nevada, whatever. But like you're on the West Coast and you see like women on the West Coast, and you're seeing like, okay, there's this specific look, there's a specific attractiveness that you're familiar with over here on this coast. So they definitely nailed it on like when they chose her.
She strips. That's the stripper that niggas be going in and talking about something. I can take you away from all this. I can save you from this.
This is the Drake stripper, bro. This is all he's talking about. This is the Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Like this is absolutely like that's what I'm talking about. I'm Spider-Man, Superman. Like this is it. This is her. I
just sent a photo in the group chat, Spike.
Let me see what's up.
Yes, y'all. Goddamn. I'm gonna watch the episode. I heard that. Side note, that latest episode of Paradise, people have been saying that's like one of the that's up there, like Red Wedding, like one of the best episodes of TV that you're gonna see this
Sheesh.
period. So I'm gonna watch that when we get
Well,
done.
they better be right, boy. Because like, listen,
Have you watched Paradise, Mo?
nah, not yet.
You'll fuck with it. Sterling K.
I
Brown.
still gotta get back on my
Sterling.
House of Dragons.
No. Listen, watch Paradise. All the other shit that you about
is
to
it
watch
on?
and gotten Hulu.
Hulu.
I ain't
All the
got
other
Hulu.
shit that you want to watch, and I've been telling you to watch, like, scratch all that shit. Watch Paradise.
That's what I got. The black dude,
Sterling
right?
K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown.
Yep.
Yeah, the no stash is crazy.
It's one of them one. Nah. Don't let nothing distract you.
No,
bro.
I ain't gonna let it
Don't let nothing deter you from this. This is one of them ones, bro.
I believe
this is
him,
one of them ones. Like, this is like, yeah.
Okay.
There's been conversation out here about this last episode, like top 5 episodes of TV in the last
People got
10, 15 years.
Okay, now 10, 15 years. Okay, let's say, hold up
Yeah.
now. We doing
Yeah,
Sopranos. Y'all
we
gotta relax.
ain't gonna be egregious. We ain't gonna be
I
egregious.
say, all right, because I like, hey, put some
last
respect.
10, 15 years, like they're saying this
10, 15,
last
that's
episode
fine.
is like up there.
Okay. I would love to have a conversation around that. We got a TGIF coming up on Childish.
We'll find some way to do it.
Okay. So we got a few more scenes I'm kind of tie together here because just because everything's kind of brief. Tony gets a call from his trash guy about the asbestos and it's backing up. Tony proposed to tell him like, yo, I'm gonna get together, just hold up. Yeah. Sonya gives Tony, well, they they're having a conversation or whatever, and then Sonya gives Tony the Blanca treatment. You should notice that. I still think Blanca did a little better. She definitely put a little more aggression on it. You definitely had some more issues going through your head, so you definitely was rocking the world on some MJ. But she did a thizzle. Anything I want to add to it?
I'd have never gone back to Jersey, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yo, leaving your family behind, like I'm not leaving my family behind for it.
I'd have shot the club up and called it a day, man. My kid's grown, man. Fuck all that.
You don't understand.
That's why me and Rich relate to each other.
Yeah, it sounds good, but when you gotta actually do the work, nigga,
Nah, you got kids and shit, my nigga. Mo, you don't get this. Like,
no. That's what I'm saying. You don't get this. When you gotta be there and do the work, nigga. I ain't about to do all that.
Oh, hey, listen, man. I ain't thinking about the work. I ain't thinking about none of that, bro. This right here, what we finna do. You just convinced me. I'm here. I'm in Vegas. I don't give a fuck about. I'm retired. Listen, like, I don't give a fuck about.
Let's take the proper steps. If I'm gonna do that, if I'm gonna shoot up the club, take the proper. Ain't no, bro. Ain't
nigga. Nigga.
Sounds,
ain't no proper steps. We ain't doing none of that.
It sounds great when you don't. It sounds great when you don't have kids, bro. It's like, okay, cool. I've lived my life this way for this long.
My kids grown, my nigga.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan speaks for me when it comes to kids, man.
Fuck them kids.
Listen. Now y'all talk about the nigga from what's his name?
No, that's Jordan, bro.
No, not Jordan, but then Menace to Society. That's what y'all niggas acting.
Menace to Society. Who?
Which part? Who?
Kane. Remember when she was calling like, yeah, that's the way y'all give me.
Nah, this different. This different though. Cause I'm older than her. Like in Menace to Society, there was an old bitch like putting that whop on a young nigga and like, you finna take care of me and my kid. Yeah, she was definitely old. She was older than Kane.
Jada Pinkett was definitely
She was older than Kane.
Not Jada Pinkett. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the one that she had called randomly.
I ain't even worried about her. This definitely ain't a good honest conversation.
No, I'm saying, but this is the chick.
If you're talking about the chicken from the park, this definitely ain't a good honest conversation because I ain't like, it's too niggerish. That's too niggerish of a conversation.
It is, but trust me when I tell you, it sounds good until till you get to the arrival. And like,
Hey,
oh
hey,
man, I
I
wish I
tell you
would have.
this, Kane better than me. And we seen how he treated it. He better than me, nigga. Like, I'll say that, and we can leave it there and move
Spike
on
Lou,
and do good
you
earners.
are where you're supposed to be, brother. You saying that, I'm glad you are where you are, brother. Like you
That's all.
saying
Hey,
that, and give me
I
everything I
I
need.
accept that, and I
No
appreciate
doubt.
that from you because I fuck with you, and I know you mean the best for me,
Yeah,
bro. Like
when you say that, that's
I'm
a
just saying,
real.
Kane better than me, bro. Kane better than me.
That
Yeah,
phone will still be
like
ringing.
yeah.
That phone will still
Listen,
be ringing.
Now,
she would. Hey,
now, Rich,
Rich, she
you a
would.
little
She
different. Like Rich, a
Rich,
little different.
Rich.
This is why
She
I feel
wouldn't even
like
had the
y'all.
number. I ain't even gonna hold you, bro.
Now, this is why I feel like y'all
like, you
very off.
can't.
Y'all very off here. Like y'all too. Like I know y'all got similar brain. I feel like y'all very off here, but that I know that's some separate conversation.
Nah.
Whatever. But
Rich just more cerebral than I am.
he is. But I feel like in this scenario, I feel like it'll be a slightly different.
I would have picked up, but the whole thing goes back to what Spike said. Like she would have had the number anyway to get a hold of me, so it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't have to pick up.
Fair. That's okay.
Again,
Why
we
you
getting
need my
into some
number?
nigga shit on good earners. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't
She
know
would
what
have
we
got
talking
your number
about.
out the phone book.
Let's get back
We
to
gotta
that.
keep it rolling,
Yeah.
man. We gotta keep it rolling.
A lot of people don't know
Speaking
what
of
we
nigga
talking
shit. Speaking
right.
of nigga shit.
So
Let's talk about the next scene.
right. So we find out that Sonya's in college and she's an exotic dancer. She says
Oh
that
man, I laid it up perfectly for you, Mo. You already talked about all this.
okay.
The
Well,
next scene was
where
dude
were
getting
you
off the
going?
bike. The next
Yeah.
dude was dude getting hit with the bike. You talked
All
about
Fucking
it.
right,
nigga.
I'm not even going to talk about it.
Are you serious?
I'm absolutely serious.
Why?
I thought.
I mean,
hey, that's how
y'all
Mo.
want to do it? Y'all talk about. I have zero. I will turn my screen off, step out, come back.
And they
I
say he
have
leaving.
zero.
You
I
leaving?
on
I
everything
got-
on everything I love, nigga.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
not
wait,
talking
wait,
about that.
wait. From the perspective that you've had as a content creator reviewing this show and how racist that it is, you gonna let this scene live. You ain't gonna put no commentary or nothing on it.
Bro, because
I'm
I think.
challenging you right here.
Well,
I'm challenging you.
okay. Here's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse because these last few episodes within these like season 6A and B, I've started to really like, okay, knock it off. Like I've really been very vocal about, like we just said, like, okay, we think you're racist. So it's like we have fun, we joke about it, or whatever, because every race gets it. But after a while, it's like, okay, I'm sick of your shit. Like you keep doing this just for shits and giggles because you feel that it's funny to you without no ramifications because of the error in which you did it. But I'm like, I'm over it. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse if I express my issues and problem talking about the scene again. I feel like the listeners don't want to hear
That's
that.
fair. You're absolutely, you have the right to feel that way. I'm not disagreeing with you. I want to make that clear. But I do also think that you, with the platform that we have in doing this, there's some type of comment that you have to put towards this from what we've been speaking to about David Chase's racism throughout the series. You can't let it be like, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm gonna blank my mic. Like
Okay.
they're like the people need to hear from you on this in this scene.
Okay. How about you
It
lead
ain't gotta
us?
be much. It ain't gotta be much.
Okay.
It's just a simple like commentary from Mo, because your perspective is important for this scene.
Okay. Well, why don't you
One, do
start?
you agree? Before you say even okay, I agree. Like one, do you accept that?
When you lay it out like that, I gotta oblige.
Okay.
I gotta
That's why I'm
oblige.
good. That's why I'm good at what I'm gonna do.
No,
That's Spike Lee.
absolutely. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why you Spike Lou. That's why I'm big Mike and I ain't.
Now this ain't to Mo's point of not wanting to even speak on this and move on. This is bullshit. This is some David Chase, white man living in New Jersey or where the fuck he live at. I just want to throw this in there. This is one of the problems that a lot of people have with many saints of Newark.
Yep.
You just don't know how to, whatever the fuck he was trying to do right here, you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you could do it better if you had black writers in the room. If you had black contributors to the room.
Just one black writer will get you through there.
The African dude saying, I'm not a
I feel like that's never mind. Because I don't want you to.
No, go.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. We here.
I don't want you to think I'm trying to be funny, man. But I feel like internally Mo would want to handle like that. Like he would tell. I see Mo telling motherfuckers like I'm not a nigga. Trying to take the high road.
You Italian not about to tell me I'm a nigga though.
Nah, no. My whole point is I can see you even before you even crash out. You want to make it very clear that you are not a nigga. You would want to make that point taken versus the rest of us. I would have been like doing the 40-year-old version. Oh, you wanted a nigga here now. I swear on everything I love. I'm coming back on this block in like 2 hours, and anybody outside is getting shot the fuck up.
Well, Rich, that's what makes it so racist, Rich. That's what makes it so racist. It's an African dude.
Yeah.
Like they made it a point to make it an African for him to be like, oh no, I'm different from these American niggas that you know, and I'm gonna make the like it's so racist.
It's so
and then said if you ain't a nigga, if you ain't a nigga, you a terrorist. They wouldn't
God damn.
It's so
like
weak.
that. I feel like from the platform that we have and what we've built with this program and what we talk about with the artists, we have to address this. You can't go black mode and put your screen and say I ain't gonna like talk about this. This is so racist in the sense of yes, we love this show. We love the Sopranos, David Chase.
We laugh about racism often.
Yeah, we laugh about racism. We joke about it on this show, but you have to point out we would be remiss as three black men to sit here and point out like this is one of the most racist scenes of this show. The fact that they made him African and for him to say, "Oh, I'm not a nigga because I'm African and these niggas are different."
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Insane. It is fucking insane. And to throw this in with a Christopher dying episode, to throw this in with how heavy everything was with this episode, there was no reason for this. We ain't need to see this at all. It didn't build nothing. I don't give a fuck how AJ felt about this. None of that shit matters.
Then the nigga quotes Rodney King. That's even worse.
Like, bro, like
this
was crazy. We have to point this out. At the platform that we have and talking about this, and like Rich always said, this is going to live in history. We can't be three niggas that sit here and talk about this and point out this is racist.
I am not a nigga, Spike.
Fuck.
I ain't black. I'm AJ. No.
Hey, this probably one of the most racist scenes of this show.
Remember, it's up there with when we was in the hospital with you were talking about like how racist it was.
Hill Harper.
Yeah, no, the rapper. Like I think you were talking about like the earlier this season 6A. You were talking about like, bro, this is flat out racist. Like how niggas don't act like this. I think it was with Trex. It was something you were alluding to, but like you were talking about that, and it was like, nah, bro. But
like the fact that they specifically put an African person in this role and not an American person, and for him to say I am not a nigga, and for that to be a focal point of the scene, that is some of the most racist shit that I've ever seen, and I definitely want to call David Chase out about it.
Well, it's not humorous. Like it's not humorous, bro. Like
it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. This is just some racist shit, bro.
Well,
it wasn't meant to be humorous.
The point of this whole scene is because it's to show AJ, and that's what you can go even further and say this makes it even more fucked up. This scene is only written as a catalyst for AJ to see how fucked up the world is.
Right.
And this shit ain't cool and ain't fair. Like this dude did nothing, and yet we still beat him up and called him names. But you can do that a million different ways than this scene right here.
Yeah, and
y'all tossed his bike. Y'all picked his bike up, tossed it. I mean,
this nigga flipped over his car door, bro.
He was on some Wayans, the original Wayans Brothers intro. Nigga flying in the air. Like, what y'all doing?
The W effect in the 90s.
This is some of the most racist shit I ever seen on TV.
Because and I promise, hold on, we got to talk about this too, real quick. To Spike's point, let's break this down. You're in the writer's room. All right, I got an idea for this scene. Right? Think about, I always, and when it comes to Hollywood, and this comes from watching Entourage, I think about people pitching things. So, all right, I got this idea where, all right, we got the crew, AJ's new crew, and such and such pulls up, guy opens the door, there's a black guy that's riding his bike, and he damages the door and he damages the bike. But instead, he's not regular black, he's African. And then there's a moment where they start calling him a nigger. He fights back and says, I'm not. Like, just think about what I'm saying right now. Me explaining it, y'all gonna look, if y'all was in the room, y'all would look like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
if
why is this
there
even
were
an idea in your head? Like, what does this have to do with anything? It's crazy.
good way to break that down, Rich. Because like in the sense of us talking about it, for him to say I'm not a nigga and being like because he's African, that's crazy racist, bruh.
And it gets way deeper for those who aren't in the
Yeah,
culture,
that's
that the
it
whole
ain't the conversation that
diaspora
we gotta
and
have right
yeah.
here, but I just want to point it out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so if you're wondering why we're on this for so long and you don't see the racism, it goes much deeper. The diaspora wars and the difference between black people
Facts.
from Africa
it's
and
just
black people from America and black people from
unnecessary,
England and all
bro.
types of stuff.
That's
Yeah,
the thing,
nah,
Mo.
It's just
all of this,
unnecessary.
This didn't make
a lot of the
you
racism
didn't
in the
have
show
to
is
do this.
unnecessary.
You didn't have to do this way, but you decided to,
You
and you
did.
thought it was cool.
That's why many
Come on,
Saints didn't
bro.
work like it did, because you thought, oh, I'm going to write this interesting plot line with a black lead on justice and civil rights and all that, and it didn't work. And then on top of that, so it. I'm not mad. Like, I'm okay with, like, if you want to be racist, be racist, because you're gonna make jokes about it. Oh, Pocahontas over here. Like, be racist. We like it. Like, we like the equal opportunity when it comes to racism in the sense that we're gonna be comedic in it, because we're unfamiliar with it. Because I'm an Italian American, so I don't know nothing about the Black plight, the the Spanish, all those are Spanish, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Hispanic, whatever, all those that are not white, not want to be wops, whatever you want to call it. I don't know their plight, but I can make jokes about it to be funny, because I'm gonna joke on everybody, even Italians, calling them immigrants. Shout out to Furio. But like, when you're just doing this, is like, just to do it, like, bro, this ain't even necessary. You just doing this to like build
No reason for this to happen.
for AJ to come back in his therapy and say, like, why can't we all just get along?
I don't give a fuck about AJ and how he responds to this.
It's whack.
Like,
it's whack.
Great. That's
Chase.
a great monologue mode in the sense of like, I do not give a
It didn't
fuck,
work,
bro.
It did not work, bro.
This doesn't work in this episode.
But maybe it ain't for us. Maybe he made this show strictly for Italians and Italian Americans and Wonder Bread Wops.
Him and Tarantino got the same problem.
What is that?
In the sense of this shit is not necessary. It's like you thought about. It's like you can tell when shows write something and they like, oh, this is a fire scene. I don't know what to do with it, but I'm gonna keep it, and at some point I'm gonna force it in somewhere. That's what it feels like. I just want to write this. I want to have a reason to say the word nigga. And I'm gonna find a way. If you look at Pulp Fiction, dead nigger stories has what the fuck are we talking about? Like, what? It doesn't enhance the movie, doesn't make it better. It makes you uncomfortable and cringy. And as a black man who loves Tarantino's movies, it makes me say, damn, I can't defend this shit. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like this is the same thing. It's one of those things where it's not necessary. Like, you didn't need it. You really just slick wanted to write this shit because you wanted to say, I made a show where I said nigga multiple times and can't nobody do it because I did it in the name of art.
Good point.
Bro, you said that so eloquently. Like, that's perfect. But yeah, so Sonya gives Tony the Blanca treatment. And then we find out that she's in college and she's an exotic dancer. She says that Chris used to talk about some sad shit, but you actually seem sad. And Tony is wanting to try peyote. What are your thoughts about this?
Pussy so good, make you want to try peyote. That should be a tagline.
I'm with it. Yeah. You just put that wop on me like that. Like, whatever you would suggest, let's go do it. Let's go to the desert.
She definitely did a thizzle.
It
was an intimate rock.
I'm with it, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it was a great insight in the sense that, like, well, anyway. Well, here's what I want to bring back. I didn't get to mention this. Now it came back to me. So when Juliana was at Chris's funeral, and Tony introduced her to Carmela, it's very interesting because Juliana told Chris, you probably should scale back when she read the script for Cleaver. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I found that so interesting. And then, like, obviously seeing Tony, because she hadn't seen really Tony, like, after her reading his insight on him, knowing that, oh, you're talking about Tony, and then seeing his wife. So to see that he's dead, It was crazy. So I don't know. But anyway, so coming back to this, I said that to say her saying he should talk about some sad shit, but you actually seem sad is just super deep in what it is, because Tony is trying to hide it more than Chris is. But Chris gets high to so to speak to hide it, but Tony doesn't. But he think he's doing a real good job just as a boss hiding the sadness, but he's not, because she can notice it and she's not Melfi. So I thought that was really interesting.
Well, that's the benefit of that's a great point. And that's also the benefit of I don't know you. So I can pick up on things that most people can't because they do know you. Like just my observation, my general observation of meeting you, you are a sad individual. I don't know you well enough to ask you what's going on, but I can sense that off you. I can tell. The same way we can do it. If we got introduced to somebody's friends, right? So me and Spike meet Mo's friends. Me and Mo meet Spike's friends. Spike and Mo meet my friends. They can tell me things about my friends that I might not be able to see because I know them in a different way. I'm like, yo, your man's is kind of this. You know what I'm saying? Homegirl kind of this. And I'm like, oh shit, like, damn, how you pick up on that? Because I have been saying that for some years. So it's the same type of thing.
I agree. I agree with you 100% what you say. It's like he was able to get a release in the situation that he was in. And that's the thing that he felt like getting rid of Chris to tie it all back in. Getting rid of Chris is how I can do more of this. I can go out and I can get more into the space of, oh, I'm Tony Soprano. I can fuck a bitch in Vegas and have a mental clarity and do all of these things, and it's going to be better for my life. And Chris was the burden of the thing that was preventing me from doing that. So yeah, I agree.
And what's even more fucked up, the worst part about all of this, yeah, he's sad, but he ain't sad about the shit that everybody think he's sad about.
Yeah, exactly. It ain't got nothing to do with Chris. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. 100%.
1000%, man.
You want to move forward for Mo get back, or you want to?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do it, man. Because this peyote, for one, Tony said he always wanted to do it, but had responsibilities. I think that's interesting because how flippantly Tony can discuss using drugs, knowing that it won't have the same effect on him as somebody like Chris.
Like, and it's the problem that he had with Chris.
Yeah, like it's crazy, right? Like the thing I despise you for is what I'm looking at and being like, oh yeah, I can try that. Yeah, peyote, sure. Like no grown man for the most part has really just been on some, oh, I'm about to try some peyote or shrooms. That's some in the spur of the moment, somebody happen to have some and you just feeling good. That shit happens in Vegas when you just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll take some. You know what I mean? And the same thing you despise Chris for, you flippantly doing. Like you're willing to lose control and all this other shit.
Yeah. Oh, what you got?
Is peyote like Molly back in the day, or?
Nah.
I think it's an hallucinogen.
It's like
okay, so
it's like LSD of mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you just in your zone.
Man,
have you ever did mushrooms, bro?
The most I ever never mind.
You've had an experience. You ain't got to explain it. You've had an experience.
The most well, I've indulged in something where I didn't necessarily have an experience, but I'm not going to mention it here. But the most that I've had as far as experience goes was probably like an edible. Like that's as far as it went for me, and it was like wild.
Rich, you ever did? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. That's it.
Rich, you ever did mushrooms?
Yeah, once. I do that shit again too.
What was it like? Entourage, that episode of Entourage?
Different.
When it went out there,
not to that because I wasn't in nature in a sense, but there are rules when it comes to that shit, and
like, you don't do. That's some white boy shit. What they did on Entourage. Like you could do mushrooms and it'd be a different experience from what they were talking about on Entourage, but it's something that if you can handle it, you should explore. I'll say
that's the thing. That's the one thing I will say about it. To his Spike's point, if you can handle it and you don't know until you try,
I can't.
That could be it could really be a real bad experience.
Nah, you could, but you got to be in the house. It ain't no.
Bro, I can barely handle weed. Like,
yeah, you don't have anything to do. Don't plan your day. Just one of those. I don't have anything to do today, and You can't fight the high. That's what people fuck up. People try to fight the high.
Now you're right about that,
and that's what's going to get
You gotta accept whatever's happening. Like you just gotta accept that shit happening.
But here's the thing: the benefit I have that I don't is I have kids.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
You see what I'm saying? Like it makes all the difference in the world. Like
that right there made me.
You think about it, like, bro, you could tweak out like, all right, if I'm out of here, then I'm just out of here. This is me.
Yeah, this is you and the wife. Mushrooms is you and the wife weekend. It's
and don't get me wrong.
Like, we got a babysitter. It ain't nothing like yeah.
But even then, if you psychologically going there, you're still thinking about their well-being, and you get overly obsessive about it.
Listen, around kids, no. This is something you and your wife would enjoy alone. I've done it before. It's like, yeah,
if we were to do something like that, we got to be in nature. Like that I would tell you.
That's fine. Yeah, that's the best place to be.
Okay.
I've done it playing golf before.
That's a vibe. Yeah, that's a vibe.
Yeah.
Away from the cliffs, though.
No kids. Like, I gotta take care of responsibilities. Nah, it's a wrap.
No. We know better than that.
I gotta have a free weekend.
We got we got a story or two, so it's like,
but if you playing golf,
like I said earlier, man, I don't just get a kid some. I don't see the big deal.
You a fry? Yeah. Say, hey, if you ever get pregnant, hit me back and we're gonna have a conversation about that. Get a kid some. Wow.
I'm putting it in the bottle.
I'm putting cases.
I'm putting it in the bottle, bro.
I love you dudes, man. So we go to Phil calls Tony about business, and Tony says, be a businessman. You got everything, you got everything you want. And he says, not everything. Then goes to say condolences to your nephew. All right. So first off, what did Phil mean when he said not everything?
I left some things on the table, man. There's a lot of things I should have had from you that I never got a chance to get.
Yeah.
That I can't collect now. Matter of fact, speaking of which, sorry to hear about your nephew.
Right. I'm still putting in work. Like, don't think that the little agreement that you and Johnny Sack had gonna hold with me. I still got some shit that I want to take over.
Yeah.
Hey, they said, what do I want? I'm returning your call. Fuck you talking to?
Come on, what I want, nigga? You called me.
They called me.
AJ is now depressed again and quotes Rodney King. Why can't we all just get along?
I always wonder what the therapist was thinking when he heard that, because he lived through that shit. And that was one of
this is some more racist shit.
And it's just like, what the fuck is going on, man?
This is racist. Why can't we all just get along?
Because you're playing.
That's a quote. That's a quote he used. Like, come on.
Well, here's a real question. I want to ask both of you. Do you think AJ knows where that quote comes from?
Nope.
Probably not. And that's what make it racist.
Well, they wrote it that way where it's like, oh, he doesn't know because AJ is a dipshit. But like, it's this thing where like, oh, now y'all trying to use this as a humorous moment, but like there was real pain.
I don't think they were trying to use it.
I think they were. I think it was. So. Here's what I'm saying. Not like, oh, we're so overtly funny. I think it's supposed to be a subtle funny. Like, like funny how type funny. Not like, oh, I'm laughing out loud funny. It's a funny, like funny how type of thing. And so it's just definitely Wonder Bread whoppish. And I don't like it. Like I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. If there's any more scenes from this point going into Made in America, I ain't giving you nothing. Because I'm telling you right now, it's whack. You needed a black writer, or you needed a black resource to confirm or to acknowledge, is this funny, is this witty, is this clever, this is something we can laugh at. You didn't have that, and you took a leap of faith and you made the show what it was. And most people won't bat an eye about it because they're not black, but we are black, and we talk about that in our intro. And it's like, bro, it's just whack. Like
all I'll say to that is, you got to remember, man. Obviously, not justifying or excusing it. But that's part of the beauty of why this podcast particularly exists, because they never had to take into account what the fuck we think and how we gonna react to it. Who gives a fuck how these niggas gonna react? This ain't for them anyway.
And that's the thing that Rich speaks to a lot. as far as how this lives on in eternity. We got 4 more episodes, 5 more episodes, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But people are going to look at the Sopranos. They're going to find our podcast and they're going to, oh, this is how black people felt about it.
Yeah.
Not just how I perceived it or how Michael Imperioli and Bobby, whatever fuck his name is, how they talked about it on
Steve
Talk the
Sharippa.
Sopranos. Yes, Steve Sharippa. Or they're going to be able to tap into something like this and be like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that this was racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
These 3 black dudes are here talking about it, and I know now what they mean, and it's going to add a different perspective to this show, which is the great thing about this piece of art that we're creating.
And you gotta understand, people that have listened to us and been on this journey, like, do you understand the depths we gotta dig in to flat out call it, okay, this is just racist? Like, bro, we laugh at everything when they talk about niggas. Like, black people, we laugh. Like, Rick always quote that fucking niggas. Like, we laugh about it all the time. So for us to flat out say, okay, this is just racist, y'all got to understand, bro. We laugh at everything when they talk about black people, Filipino, Italian, Asian, Spanish. We laugh at everybody, and that's what the show does. But when we flat out like, okay, it's racist, understand that like you surpassed the threshold of what's funny.
And we speak from a point, you're right, Mo. Everything you said is right. And we're also speaking from a point of 3 people who love this show.
Yes, exactly.
It ain't like we judging this. We trying to get clickbaits. We trying to say, this was racist in The Sopranos. Everybody like The Sopranos. Let me do this clickbait about this so I can get like, nah, nigga.
Yeah.
We watching this as black men and being like, nah, that don't add up, bro.
Exactly.
That's the unique thing about this show.
Yeah, this is what gonna make the show legendary when it's all said and done.
Can't let y'all put
legendary
on our
right
name,
now.
Man.
What'd you say, Rich?
Smut on our. I said we can't let nobody put smut on our name.
Facts.
Even you, David Chase.
Yeah. Hey,
David Chase is gonna come across this.
He gonna come across this one day.
Yeah, he gonna be like, man, what the fuck?
I'm saying it now, like
he gonna be like fucking niggers.
So, hey, when he hear that, when we reviewed the documentary on the back of the Bing, that's definitely the response.
Facts.
But just a few more scenes. So Tony and Sonia take peyote, and he throws up and sees the light. They go back to the casino. Right, they go back to Casino High, and Tony looks at the devilish animation on one of the slot machine or one of the machines. They start betting on the roulette table, and Tony starts winning and says he's dead and starts laughing. This is where he should have gotten an award, James Gandolfini, because this laugh was like a Joker laugh. Before we get into the last scene, what do y'all think?
2 quick things. Only 2. 1, 45 minutes, 55, 56 seconds, wherever you want to stop it. That's the moment when I said, oh, Sonya's number 1. Just that black dress walking through Caesars. Yeah. Right here, right now.
Okay,
anytime he plays Janet Jackson style, my nigga. My second thing is how fucked up and crazy is it that
she got it? Yeah.
Because I'm winning at the roulette table, I'm equating that with, I'm only winning because this pain in my side, this thorn in my side is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that he's dead means I can win things again. I can enjoy these things in life. I don't have to worry about chasing it episodes where I'm just through the dumps. Now that Chris is going, your life amounted to what happens good in mine. He trivializes it so badly, and it's just fucked up when you think about it in a certain way. This episode did a masterclass on. It's a perfect reminder of, hey, this is not a good job. This is not a good person. This is not good people. Like he really said, I'm winning now. That's all because Chris is dead. It's the only reason I'm winning. Not because of dumb luck. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Last couple scenes, they dump asbestos in the river or lake. And then Tony and Sonia go out to the desert. And Tony does the infamous, I get it thing with his face that is smiling and crying, so much emotion in the face. What do y'all think this means now that we have finally arrived here? We've alluded to this in earlier seasons, and now that we're here, I want to hear both of y'all's take on the I get it.
I'm not gonna hold you. I want to hear your take because you tease this the most,
I have,
like for
that's
the
true.
longest. And for me, I'll just keep it brief. The beauty of the show, you don't know what he gets. It could
Okay.
be a number of things. It could be a number of things. It's all up to interpretation, and it could change each time you watch the episode. That's what makes it great. But I spent so much time really trying to deep dive and get fake deep into what Tony really means, and the answer is, man, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to something Spike Lou said earlier, man. It's all a big nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Whatever he got and understood, it's just gonna help him live another day in his life without trying to overthink and try to figure shit out.
I'm a rich. I want to give you the ISO on this mo. I
Yeah.
think it was just in the sense of we seen what happened with him and Chris. We seen how the build up was. We are able to discuss it differently because this is our third, fourth, fifth time watching this, and we're talking about it, having conversations about it. So him saying, "I get it." There's a lot of different ways that we can go with it, but in a simple, very in the most simple way that we can put it is like he got a burden off his shoulders, and we get that. That's all I got from it. I don't know where else to take it from there. And from there, I'll toss it to you like John Stockton.
I can pass that like Stockton.
On my body like John Stockton.
um, I used to always be confused about this. Obviously, our first watch, y'all, everybody's confused mostly, maybe even second watch. But this time, you understand, I get it. Like for me, and shout out James Gandolfini, rest in peace, because he's doing this like crying and laughing thing at the same time. And it's such a, I don't even know how you get there as an actor. Like you got to believe you are that character at that point because you're tapped into an emotion that you can't front and fake for the cameras. Cause it's ridiculous when you pause and look at him like how he's like smiling, crying, like what emotion is he feeling? That takes real chops. Now, when he says I get it, to me, I look at it like this. It's like I think that I always look at he embraced the fact that this is who I am. It goes as far as I would have to whack my nephew. And I think he just embraced the fact that like this is where I am, this is who I am, and this is how it goes. I'll never have happiness fully. I'll never have the protege that I was looking for. I'll never have the marriage I look for, but I will always be able to finesse this mob life. I get it. This is the life that I've chose. And now that I understand that, I'm okay with it. Even though I got a little bit of crying in it and I'm smiling, I'm okay with it. So that's the way I look at that. I get it. Of course, people that are listening like, oh, it's a deeper psychological. Listen, we told y'all before, this is not that type of pod. Like we ain't doing that. We ain't gonna go super extra deep. There's I on our pilot episode, I told y'all some other podcasts to listen to if y'all want to go extra deep, and I've even given y'all some websites. But we take a different spin on it, and hopefully it's entertaining and resourceful enough for you.
Good job.
Right on. So with that being said, that is our episode, man. Truly, we love doing this, but we never leave out here without a ranking because that's what we do on this thing, man. It's hard to come up with rankings for podcasts, but we have fortunately been able to do that. So without further ado, Spike Lou, how do you rank this episode?
Made episode.
And why is that?
We lost a major character. We were able to get revelations into the main character and how he felt about that major character that we've never seen before. That like there's been scratches on the surface of how he's felt, but this episode really dug into like, nah, nigga, I ain't shit. All that shit we did the first 5 seasons, him being my nephew, like I don't give a fuck about dude.
Boy.
Pulling the rug out like that on this episode and us not expecting it, especially if it's your first time watching it, even more so with us watching it several times through and seeing the build up.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing it like, oh nigga, I ain't never really understand why he did this, but now I'm
Yeah.
talking to Mo and I'm talking to Rich, and we walking through each of these scenes step by step. Yes, nigga, he's going to kill Christopher. We seen that. We seen that building up.
Yeah.
It was masterful as
It
far as the
was.
writing, even if you're watching it from the first time or watching it from a perspective that we're doing and talking about it. So yes, made episode.
So far, Rich might be 2 for 2. He said the last 5 is made. So we're gonna see.
Nothing change
Rich.
is made, and I dare not follow what Spike just said.
Mm.
Like he said it perfectly. Made.
He did. He did. He nailed it. I'm going with that. We're going trips. It's made. We 2 for 2 so far on the last 5.
That's
So it's
gonna
made
happen
for
the
me
next
as well.
3. Next week is the only questionable. Somebody
What's the
might
name
try
of
to
the
pull a
next
wild
episode?
card. The second coming. I don't think it should be. I think it's
Okay,
made episode.
interesting. I remember some pieces from the AJ stuff, but I don't remember what else. So I'm interested when we get there. Spike
Yeah,
Lou, who gets a good earner chain?
The good earner chain in this episode, woo, it's a hard thing to do.
Hey, you're right. Now I gotta think about it.
Damn.
We actually got a dub in this episode.
I almost want to pawn off to one of y'all to do first
Okay,
before
we can come
I
back to
pick
you.
mine.
Rich,
Okay.
what you got, Rich? Anybody you can think about that get a dub in this episode?
So this hard, and my answer's gonna be fucked up, but it is what it is. My first initial thought was AJ,
Mm,
because AJ, for the first time, it feels like he's seeing the world for what it is and maybe coming up with his own thoughts.
mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to give credit to someone who is, as we talked about earlier, taking a scene like that, and that's the moment when you realize everything's fucked up. Like I don't know, that's just a little bit
Yeah.
rewarding to AJ for no reason. So I'm gonna give it to Chris's daughter.
Mm.
Mm,
Like I said, I know it's gonna sound fucked up, man, but she gets to live with the memories of all the great stuff that her dad was known for, and we rarely get them hear about the issues and struggles with sobriety that her dad had. She gets to look at him. They're gonna make sure his memory is painted in such an image that she's always gonna see him in a glowing light, and she does not have to deal with the bullshit that Chris would cause from being who Chris Moltisanti's been since we started this series. Like maybe she benefits the most from all of it. Who knows? Fucked
mm.
up, but
That's a good
that's my
pull.
answer.
That is a good pull. I don't know if
Everybody was disgusting in this episode.
everybody. Yeah, it's like I don't know if I have somebody that's got the dub, who got the good earner chain, because it's kind of nobody really won in this episode. So
Kenny and Heidi, man. Kenny and Heidi might have won.
I thought about them. I definitely
They
thought about
kept
them
going though.
getting the hit and run off.
Hey, man.
They kept going.
Non-insured,
Once again,
non-licensed, getting it
same
off.
way I explained about with Tony doing something so handy. Even though they didn't do anything, they was just driving. The only thing they didn't do was the noble thing, which was stop and check on someone.
The honorable thing is to give me the loot.
Mm.
You see what I did there? All right.
I'm gonna say I'll say Lil Paulie delivering the news about Paulie's old
Low
mama.
Paulie?
Yeah. Wasn't that Lil Paulie?
He made
Didn't
the
he
phone
deliver?
call. He
Yeah,
wasn't on the
Okay, I
screen,
guess
but
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
he wasn't on screen. Patsy's got the phone call and said that was Lil Paulie. He told
Yeah.
me.
That's the closest thing I could get to a good person from this episode, Lil Paulie.
And who'd you say, Rich?
Chris's daughter.
Oh, Chris's daughter.
I should say Sonya for blessing us.
Hey, you know what? Thank you, sir. I'm going Sonya.
Straight
And
up,
hooked
bro.
it up with the peyote and a good joint.
Yeah, and I love a good brawler scene.
I mean, come on, you know
That's my type of
what?
time.
What are you gonna do? Spike Glue, who gets a Broken Balls award?
Broken Balls Award is Christopher's wife, man.
Kelly.
Kelly, bro. We see her out here dealing with the most Chris dead. We know what happened. She don't know what happened. She thought that she had this thing set up. I got kids. I got a new husband, and now I got to deal with all this shit by myself. Kelly definitely took the L in this episode.
I ain't mad at that. What say you, Rich?
Probably do it from Somalia.
Who?
He was from Somalia, wasn't he?
Oh, the black dude. You
I
right.
think he said that. I might be mistaken. I thought he said he was from
I'm not
Somalia.
a nigga.
Yeah, man. He Spiky Wild. Yeah, man, that's kind of fucked up. Obviously, Chris is too easy of an answer. But my man's literally just trying to get to class, man. Now I'm getting stomped out by, 6 Italians in the street, and they tossed my bike. My bike got ran over. That was for real, for real. That's the extra sauce where I'm like, all right, David Chase, chill out.
Yeah,
we already
doing
fucking
too
them up.
much.
Now you
doing
gotta
too much,
you doing way too much,
bruh.
That's like an old famous trope. I think about Ha, right? When the nigga lost his bike, then the truck comes and runs it over, then backs up on it. Like, all right, man,
Bro,
we know.
we always use
right
that
now.
quote in my house. Well, me and my dad, we be like, what? Bro, we use that all the time, bro. We be crying laughing.
Hey, that's just hilarious.
It is though.
For I knew exactly what you was doing.
What? Like, dude, so shocked.
Oh shit.
So I guess broken balls for me is going to be it's low hanging fruit, but I gotta go Christopher Moltisanti.
Anybody impacted by the asbestos? That's what I should say.
That's
really though, like, but I gotta go Christopher Moltisanti because it's like, bro, if you weren't doing the most, trying to cover up your high, you probably still be alive. But of course, you can't do that when you're high. Like, that's how I go. And lastly, your favorite quote, Spike Lee.
Fucking James Brown over here.
Oh man,
I said it in the chat. I know that's mine, man. I said it in the chat. Nigga, fucking James Brown. Fucking James Brown now. Tony was so disgusted, man. That's just hilarious.
He's so annoyed by people's grief.
Facts.
So you saying that's yours too, Rich?
That's mine.
100%. I put that in the chat earlier just because
I stole that from
watching
Rich.
I was weak.
I give it to her. Yeah, I stole
that. That gets me every
Tony
time.
Did that shit? Tony was so disgusted, man. Fucking James Brown now. That's his mama. That's his mama.
Hey, that's a Rich original. So I don't want to act like I had nothing to do with that.
I'm not even saying it for that. I'm just saying it because y'all know that's gonna be my answer. But the fact that that's his mom, she has every right to act out if she wants to. And this nigga said, "Fucking James Brown now."
Yeah, he was like super annoyed. Like,
rightfully so too.
All right. So maybe I'll go with my cousin Tony. They shot his face off. I was prostrate with grief. Like he's so convincing and like convincing himself of lies. Like, you shot his face off. You know what I mean? Like Tony's a wild boy. Like, you shot your cousin's face off, but you said they shot his face off. I'm prostrate with grief. Crazy. So I'm gonna go with that. They shot his face off.
Tony a wild boy.
He is, and he does it so well. Like, cause he sells so much, you be like, did he shoot him? Spike Lee, what's your favorite moment of the episode?
Favorite moment of the episode is grim, but Tony choking out Chris. This is a turning point.
Okay, Tony choking out Chris. I'll suffocate you, you little prick. Say you, Rich.
As much as I try to be original and fancy and cute, that's it. I mean, that's it. I know what happens early in the episode. Chris's death is the episode. That's the scene. That's it.
Okay. See here. Well, favorite moments. All right, for me, favorite moment is going to be the I get it. Because it's one of those scenes people are still trying to figure out what that means. But for me, it
that's on brand for you.
Yeah, it's deep because I'm such a huge fan on embracing your reality. You know, but a lot of people live life just kind of living in the finesse, like I don't want to acknowledge who I really am. I'm just gonna kind of be whatever works for people. But at some point, you come to the realization, like, this is who I am. And Tony came to the realization and said, I get it. That's all of us at some point. Like, okay, this is who I am. I get it. This is who I am as Spike Lee. This is who I am as Big Rich Town. This is who I am as Marius Hunter III. I get it. And that's what it is. Yeah, I ain't gonna be everybody's cup of tea. So that I get it is so deep, and then how he played the scene from crying and laughing at the same time. It was remarkable. So, but with that being said, that is our episode of Good Earners Reviewing the Sopranos. Y'all want to reach out, goodearnerpod@gmail.com, as well as goodearnerpod_Sopranos on Instagram. Man, we thank y'all for tuning in. Truly, we're getting closer and closer to the end. We got something special coming for y'all in March. Stay tuned. But in the meantime, in between time, remember, don't forget about it.